Are you ready to sell your property quickly and hassle-free, or are you looking for a great property management service? Introducing XL Property, your trusted real estate partner. With XL Property, you can expect top-notch service, expert guidance, and maximum value in your home or investment. Sell smarter, sell faster with XL Property. XL Property, your key to a seamless selling and management experience. Visit xlproperty.com.au, proud sponsor of the Two Blokes in a Pod podcast.
This episode is brought to you by Lush Clean Kicks.
Your pride and joy need a bit of a TLC, bring them back to their former glory. Get in touch with only the best products said to make them all clean and crispy again.
Reach out to Benny, Lush Clean Kicks at gmail.com, or check him out on Instagram and Facebook.
Michaela, you didn't tell me you were going live tonight. I would have come, sorry.
Well, Michaela, you should be following our Facebook page.
Yeah.
Where a comment clearly was on there. All right, let's start. Well, we're here. We're live.
We made
again.
it. We made
it. And I'm gonna start off with a quite controversial topic right now.
You tell me.
We've just had the Australian Formula One Grand Prix.
Yes, we have.
Yesterday, we had a great race. For once this year, so far in race number 3, we did not have a Red Bull in top 3.
Correct.
Right? That's not the controversial part. I guess, it was a bit controversial for Red Bull that Verstappen exited on lap 3. Yep. But the controversial part that I want to talk about, right? Daniel Ricciardo, our Australian supposedly superstar, is doing nothing. Will he have a seat next season? He's doing nothing.
I don't think so.
Okay. Where is that coming from? Is that yours?
Sorry about that.
Turn the volume off.
Sorry.
So, Daniel Ricciardo, he's in a team, Red Bull. He obviously qualified in the top 10, yes, but then he got demoted because of a penalty, and he had to start on the grid from the 18th place. He moved himself up, obviously, to the 12th place, but having said that, majority of the cars to get him to the 12th place had already retired in the race, so he ended up 12th, right?
Right.
Had the two Mercedes still been in there, had Verstappen still been in there, he would have been 3 places down the track.
Yep.
Right, down the ending finish line. So, will he have a seat next year?
I don't think so.
The way the field is panning out, I don't think he's going to have a seat anywhere.
Yeah.
We're talking about Ferrari now. They've made it clear that Sainz is not getting renewed.
Which is fucking bullshit.
Which I personally think is the controversy as well, that he is a better driver than Leclerc.
I think so.
Much better driver.
I think so. Yeah.
Right? In the last 2 years, he is the only person that has bet the Red Bulls twice.
Yeah.
Right? So I see him going on. And
who's younger?
Oh, Leclerc's much younger.
Oh, that's probably why.
Right? But they're bringing on an older person. I think Hamilton is older than Sainz.
Hamilton?
Yeah, Hamilton's mid-30s.
Yeah.
So they're bringing him on.
Yeah.
Now, is Sainz going to go Mercedes, or is Sainz going to go Red Bull?
It'd be probably better for his career in the short term to go Red Bull.
Yeah.
But long term, when Mercedes sort their shit out, I think they'll be back on top again.
Mercedes aren't that far from the top. They do have a few issues, but they're not that far.
Yeah, I don't know.
They've been unlucky, but every team has been,
He was ripped off.
That was my controversy to start. And here we go. Ben Stewart's even agreeing here.
Oh,
he was ripped
F1.
off.
He's big F1.
Yeah, good. Always, hang on. What's that? Benny Shoes, how are you? Oh, Tony.
Yeah.
Hi, Tony. Hi, Benny. Hi, Zach. Welcome to the live feed. There we go. So, all right. Now, before we get cracking, just a big shout out to both our sponsors.
Yep.
We've got Lush Clean Kicks for all your, I guess, kicks needs. If you need them cleaned, I do have 3 pairs, Benny, that I need cleaned. I spilt a Greek coffee. I don't know what I was doing, man, but I spilt a whole espresso cup of Greek coffee on my Yannis, my beautiful custom made freaks are now black.
Oh, no.
From the tar of the Greek coffee.
Got to get Benny on him, mate.
So, Benny, I will be contacting you shortly. And a very big shout out to XL Property for all your property needs, whether it be selling, buying, or management. Mm-hmm. Check out the team at XL Property. That's xlproperty.com.au. Reach out to them, mention that you heard on Two Blokes in a Pod, and they will look after you.
Or charge a double, either way.
Yeah, well, real estate agents, they're good at that, aren't they? Yeah. Yeah. I ended up, so I when I wanted to sell something, manage a property, sorry.
Yep.
I went to 3 different companies to get their rates and all that. One was 5.5, one was 6.6%, the other one was 9.9%.
Yeah.
Do you know which one I ended up going with?
The middle one.
9.9%, because they were such a great salesperson.
Yeah.
Right?
Look.
And on top of that, I'm paying for inspections, I'm paying for this, I'm paying for that. Yep. Whereas the 5.5 was like, just straight 5.5%. But I'm like, okay, is that going to be a good service? Anyway, whatever. I don't know what XL's rates are. Yeah. I'm just saying.
Look, you get what you pay for, because I remember when we were when we first bought our property, we rented it out for a couple of years before we moved in, and we had a look around, and we went with this lady at the time. She got voted number 1. This was back in 2013. She got voted number 1 property inspector for South Australia and Northern Territory. And she was on the higher side, but mate, everything was done. So the cheapest isn't necessarily the best, because they may not even go out and inspect your property. So
my heart's just been crushed.
Why is that?
So Benny's like, nothing gets Greek coffee out. Thanks, mate. Yeah, that's really good from our sponsor saying you're fucked.
Yeah, anyway,
your shoes are fucked.
And he also said that Mercedes are miles off.
Yeah. So. Oh God! All right, what do you reckon?
Get into it.
Get it cracking.
Yep.
This is Two Blokes in a Pod.
Hey, what is that?
The podcast where, well, it's a bit of this, a bit of that.
I don't understand.
Just blokey laughs and blokey chats.
Okay.
Whatever it is, let's get started.
All right, so let's start off. Let's get the formalities out of the way. Greek Independence Day.
Oh, is that what we're going with?
Yeah, we're going with that.
Zito Yelas.
Yes, Zito, mate.
Zito Eleftheria.
Yes.
Yes, so today is the 25th of March. We are recording on Greek Independence Day, where the likes of Kolokotronis and Papaflessas and Bobulina all, raised the revolution, started the revolution against the Ottoman Empire.
He did.
Talking about Greek coffee, actually originated from Turkey. Why are you looking at me like that? I'm telling the truth here, man.
Yeah, I know, because I remember I painted this house a couple of years ago, and I brought my mate Daniel to come and help me with painting this house. And this guy, he is very, very like Greece, Cyprus, like very Greek, right? Anyway, he goes, "Oh, boys, you want a coffee?" And he was like, yeah, no worries. Anyway, he goes, "Oh, you want Greek coffee?" And I'm like, "Yep." I go, "Daniel, you want Greek coffee?" He goes, "Yep, Greek coffee." All right, comes out. And he goes, "Oh, this is," Daniel said to this guy, he goes, "Oh, it's pretty much Turkish coffee, isn't it?"
Oh.
Now, let me set the scene here a little bit. So his house is like Greek shields, Greek spears, helmets, like he's very Greek.
So like a descendant of King Leonidas.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Essentially, right? And he's like, no, it's not the same, even though it is. It's not the same. This is actually imported from Greece. And he's like, don't ever say that it's the same again. I was like,
Wow.
anyway, whatever.
I wouldn't want to be in that position.
No,
But then again, Daniel, was he Italian?
he's Italian, yeah.
Yeah, well, that explains a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't it? So yes, happy Greek Independence Day to all the Greeks that are celebrating. I mean, here in Australia, we do things differently, and we celebrated on the 24th because it was the closest Sunday to the actual day.
Yeah.
But hey, whatever, like, whatever works, I guess.
Yep.
It's a bit like January, isn't it? When we bless the waters, and if it doesn't fall on the actual day, we'll bless it like the Sunday after the celebration of blessing the waters.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. All right. Now, I'm feeling a little bit outnumbered tonight.
So you should.
I am feeling very outnumbered. It's
Very, very blue, isn't it?
I go through this podcast every week, and it's just me and you, banter, my team versus your team. We have a bit of a little mini ruse discussion. Today, though, I'm feeling very outnumbered because you have a special guest in.
I do.
Who also happens to be your assistant coach.
Oh, I wouldn't say assistant, but I'm more the assistant these days. More like the co-coach.
It's very true. I saw him coach / referee last week, and he was like lost. He didn't know what to do, where to go.
A lot of people actually been pulling me up on my reffing. Like, what the fuck are you, like, what are you doing? How did you not see that? This and that. But to my defense, I am getting an update on my laser eye surgery next month or month after. Oh yeah, George, I might not be there on the Friday.
That's like another session.
Before we go to that though, it's hard.
What's that?
I can't referee a kid's game that my team's in. I can't referee and coach at the same time.
Because you're saying like
it's so difficult because
you want to hold the game up.
Yeah.
So your boys get in, but you don't want to hold it up too long because then the other team is like,
you
hey,
want to
what the fuck
be you want to be the middleman where you're fair to both teams.
Yeah.
But then, you see your team doing something and you just, you're like, no, what are you doing?
Your hearts.
And then on the other side, it's like, all right, let them go. It's like, anyway, and it's hard. Anyway, let's go.
Oh, Mr. George Dracopoulos, welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys. Pleasure to be here.
So that's how we met was I thought it was complete dickhead because I started coaching the under sixes, the blue team 2 years ago. It was the third season, so in under sixes, and I was getting some emails from Thea Dim, who pretty much fucking runs the whole thing, and I must have, I don't know, read it wrong or a bit of miscommunication on, I don't know, it was just registration.
It was registration,
Yeah.
You didn't know what you're doing.
No, and I still don't know what I'm doing. And so I made like a Comets Blue WhatsApp chat. Anyway, so I'm like, okay, parents, for those who haven't registered, do this, and this. This is the procedure, all this bullshit. And I get this fucking George Dracopoulos coming in, and he's like, actually, mate, you got to do this, and this. And I was like, no, this is coming from the top. Me not knowing him at all, him as a coach at all. Like I just thought he was another one of those parents that would just, speak their mind. And anyway, so I didn't even know what he looked like or anything. So obviously he's been there at a couple of training sessions thinking, what the fuck is this bloke doing with the kids? And I'm like, no, this is how it is. Dim told me, whatever. He goes, no, you actually got to do this, and this. I'm like, I don't even think I responded. And then I called my Thea Dim. I'm like, who the fuck is George Dracopoulos? And she goes, oh, why? I'm like, because, okay, he's like just fucking saying all this, and this. And even though like this is what you told me, she goes, oh, no. Don't tell that to the kids. This is the correct information. So I look like the biggest dickhead just thinking that I'm doing the right thing when I wasn't, and George was right. So anyway, and then I met him at the training session, and he's like, oh, look, man, sorry, I overstepping and whatever and all this sort of stuff. But I've sort of coached before, so I know sort of how it works. I was like, oh, okay, all right, no worries, and I'm Stamati, George, whatever. And then like through the season, I realised how much he's actually coached, and then I just felt like fucking this. So yeah, George, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, look, I guess from a coaching perspective, I've been coaching for, I think it's my 7th year, coaching out the Comets. So love it. Absolutely love coaching. Love everything about it with these young boys as well. I'm a dad, 5 kids as well. So never a dull moment in my house. You can imagine with 5 kids, there's always something going on. Soccer season runs from pretty much January through to November. So normally I catch up with my wife in November. It's always good to sort of schedule a bit of a date night in November.
Are all 5 kids involved in football?
No, 4 of the 5 are. So
4 of the
play,
5.
Yeah, 4 play. One's a dancer. Hates anything to do with soccer. So yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Where did she go wrong? Or where did she go right?
She went right, I think, mate. So yeah, she's a very good hip hop dancer.
Nice.
Does a great job, but does not like soccer. So
Yep.
So 4 play, 1 doesn't.
Did
so.
your heart break a little bit?
Not really, because 4 was enough.
4 was enough, you think?
4 was enough. Well, 5 was a surprise. So yeah,
So how old are they?
So range from Stella is almost 18,
Yeah.
eldest. Evan is 16. Anastasia is 14.
Put you on the spot there.
Okay, she's a dancer. Angelique is 11, and James, my youngest, is 7 years old. So he's the one that I'm coaching at the moment with Stamati in the blue team. So yep.
Blue teams.
Just for future record, especially when he turns 21.
Yep.
Did you just say he was the mistake?
He was a surprise. I won't say mistake.
Surprise.
Surprise
Okay.
is the word that we like to use in our house. So yes.
Yeah.
Some would say mistake, but it was a pleasant surprise. So.
Oh,
Yes, he
God.
was. He was my one-hit wonder. So yep.
After you cancelled your...
I cancelled my we did.
your
We cancelled our
pregnancy cover?
We took out pregnancy cover
Because they were done at 4.
We were done at 4.
I think
Clearly,
4
we
was
were done
enough.
4. We were pretty much done. We'd sold our furniture, I think, as well. Got rid of everything and cancelled our pregnancy cover. And sure enough, along comes James about 2-3 months after I'd cancelled our cover. So we had to pay through the nose. So, yeah. So yeah. Be careful.
When I was...
Well, you know what? Kudos to you for still getting lucky after at least 2 kids. So
True.
that's
True.
that's a pretty big thing
You know what?
to
It's a funny point you
celebrate.
My dad does say to me, he goes, these kids, all 5 of them are definitely Katrina's, but how many of them are actually yours? So it's quite interesting. You're right back down to earth. So that's the way to kill it. So yeah, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, nice one,
At
Dad.
least a couple of them are, I think. So
oh, mate.
Oh, jeez.
yep,
I mean,
Wow,
they all look like her, though.
they do.
They
Don't they?
do. Or even
do.
James, because I always thought, James when he first started, I'm like, oh, yeah, him and George look the same. And then I met Katrina, I'm like, oh, no, they look alike.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, your genes are just fucking shit house. Yeah. No, you know what, Evan, I reckon, looks a bit like you.
Oh, yeah. I find that
But
interesting.
big families runs in your family though, doesn't it?
It does.
Your sister has
Yes.
2 sets of
My
twins.
sister has 2 sets of twins.
She really?
She does, yeah. So
Yeah.
so there was 2 of us. So from 2 we became 9,
1,000.
pretty much. It feels like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I know
sets of
because
twins.
obviously, I've known George and his family and his sister and her family for a long time.
Oh, you could have fucking told me he was a coach.
Well, I was.
Were you trying to set me up for disaster?
ask?
I didn't
you
know.
actually ask?
I didn't know at the time that the team split off that he was going to be joining your team. Did I?
No.
No, I didn't. Yeah, exactly.
No.
And I remember recently, I don't know, a couple of years ago, maybe even last year, I don't know, your mum hit a milestone birthday.
Last year, 70.
That's it, 70 last year.
70 last year.
And there was this big video that Katrina and the girls all made and put up on Facebook.
How many fucking kids were in
And
that
it was
video?
like each kid, we love you, yeah, happy birthday, yeah, we love you. And it just kept on going, man. Like, I swear, a Marvel film was shorter than this bloody video.
That's what happens when you have 9 grandchildren.
Your parents must fucking hate you.
I think we ruined somewhat Dad's retirement plan. So Dad built a house at Wallaroo, thought he was going to be there a lot. We had other plans. 9 kids, 9 grandchildren. He doesn't go anywhere.
No.
He's at home. He looks after our kids. I mean, my parents are in Bali at the moment, recovering from looking after our children. So they will be back on Friday. So yeah.
Is that where the soccer bench is at Wallaroo? Is that Victor?
No, that was Victor Harbour.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's we might get into that a bit later on.
Touchy topic.
It is.
So, obviously, being a mental health podcast and all that, Stamati was saying, you know what, I want to bring George on to discuss a little bit about, the ins and outs of, what you've experienced in life. It's not an easy thing being a dad of 5 kids. It's not an easy thing being a coach of young kids. And, we experience that. And, you talk to us about the pressures. I guess, let's start from the coaching point of view first.
Yep.
Because, we face some of those pressures with, I guess, mainly with parents. It's not so much the children. It's more so the parents that put pressure on us as volunteer coaches, mind you.
Yep.
And, there's the parents that really want their kids to excel and be the best that they can, which is fine. It's fair.
But that's what we try to do as coaches. We try to get the best out of each individual child.
Yeah. And I know that, for me, it's important to find that child that has strength in something that's better than the other children in that team. And you really emphasize that, build on that. Obviously, don't gloat about it, but build that child on that skill. But yeah, it's the parents that apply pressure. And, I know, you've just said that you have passion, you love it, but I also remember we had a conversation and you said there was a time where you completely lost all passion in the coaching side of things. So let's go through that.
Yeah. So look, I've been coaching for about 4 years. I think I had, fairly good success as a coach. I guess I measure my success as a couple of things: the results week in, week out. But more importantly for me, it's the relationship that you build with these young kids as well. You become like a mentor to these boys at the end of the day. And then I think it's really important that they do say that, when kids, especially boys, hit their sort of adolescent years, that they need someone outside of their family as well to be able to talk to and have a bit of a relationship with as well, and ask for some advice and all that sort of stuff. So that's the part that I guess I really loved in coaching. But as you said, from a pressure perspective, there is an expectation as well. So once you've done well, parents expect, that you guys will do well again next year, or that, my kid is the most important kid in your team. Now, from a coach's perspective, as you guys know, we're trying to coach 10, 11 kids in your instance right now as well. We're trying to look after all of them. We're not focused on just one child as well. Whereas from a parent's perspective, you've just got your sort of blinkers on and you're looking at your child and how is my child developing and where we're going with this sort of stuff. So, was it 2 years ago? When did I start coaching with you? Last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, so no, it was the end of the under 6. So it was probably the last quarter.
22, I think it was. Beginning of year.
Yeah.
So I had 2021, we had just won the under 14 the league, and we also won the cup that year as well. And I was sort of thinking about, do I go back? Do I do another year? This, that, and the other. And I sort of reflected, and that was a hard year. So for me, it started in pre-season that year. So we brought a couple of new players into the team from other clubs as well that were very, very talented players. And some of the parents that had probably been there for quite some time didn't really feel that was fair. So there was sort of, even in pre-season, there were some parents that were sort of arcing up and talking about, why are these players getting an opportunity, et cetera, and, so they'd already started challenging me a little bit there as well. So I thought, yeah, okay, fair enough,
So this was pre-season 22 or 21?
No, this is pre-season 21.
Okay,
pre-season 21. So it started sort of back then as well. So I was always, as I said, very strong about kids, I guess, mental well-being and stuff like that as well. So I was trying to look after the boys as well. As the season went on, more and more sort of stuff has started happening. Some of the kids that maybe parents thought should have been given more of an opportunity, game day, etc., weren't getting those opportunities for whatever reason. And I started getting emails on a Friday night or text messages that were 3 or 4 pages long. You can imagine just scrolling. And I'm just sitting here thinking, you've got to be kidding me. I'm a volunteer. I'm doing this. I'm trying to do the best for at that time I was coaching probably 18 kids, you know, and I'm trying to do my job, you know, on and off the park, trying to help develop these kids. And it got to me, to be honest with you. Like my passion started diminishing. You know, even though we'd had a really successful season, by the end of it I was burnt. I was done. I didn't want to coach anymore. I needed a break. And I didn't, to be honest with you, I didn't think I'd coach ever again.
So the 2021 season, did you coach that season?
I did coach that season.
Okay.
Yep, yep. So that was under 14s, and we'd had a really successful season. Probably one of the best youth teams that I've ever coached, had the pleasure of coaching. Some great kids that I've coached over my coaching career as well. But this was a special year. You know, we just had everything going for us as well. So, yeah.
And then after that season, so you won the cup as well.
So we won the cup
and the league,
and the league that year as well.
So you won it in 2020 and in 2021,
yep.
back to back.
Back to back. Yep.
Fucking
yep.
That's all right.
So yeah, so I sort of guess I knew what I was doing as a coach, and you know,
all about registration.
and registration. I'd been there, done that. So yeah, at the end of that season, I remember one of our TDs came and spoke to me and said, you know, you're going to go again, sort of thing. And I said, look, I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. That was a Sunday. Monday, that after the next day, James, my son, broke his leg at home, and that was it for me.
They were playing at the front, weren't they,
Was,
Evan? And
yep,
James.
that was James and my older son, Evan. They were playing at the front. James had finally had a great game because he was very, very shy. When he first started, he was one of the young boys, like your son as well. And had probably the best game he's ever played all season on the day before. He tackled, he did everything. And when we were at home, I got home from work, the boys were playing in the front yard.
So did he do under sixes twice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He
Yep.
did, yep.
Yeah,
So
he was with my
he was
lad
with James,
Okay.
yeah.
Yep.
twice. Yeah.
Yep, that's right. And I got home, the boys were playing, and I said, James, why don't you tackle Evan, you know, like you did yesterday sort of thing. And the rest is history. They just went in. Evan being the older brother, you know, pulled out of a challenge completely, but at that stage hit his shin and James dropped to the ground, and I was like, oh my goodness, man. I heard the crack. Evan heard the crack.
Oh, shit.
He was devastated, as his older brother as well, you know, completely accidental. And I'll never forget James saying to me in hospital, when we were there, why did you do this? Is your fault. Why did you make me do it? Why did you make me tackle him? And my heart just broke.
Oh,
But that was it. That was the moment for me where I decided, you know what, I'm not coaching the following year. I was done. I wanted to focus on family. Work suffered as a result of, you know, coaching, that sort of stuff as well. The expectations, I guess, that I probably placed on myself as a coach.
Yeah.
I demand. You probably no.
A little bit.
Yeah, I'm competitive. There's no doubt about it. But yeah.
Like I expect here, you expect like there.
Yeah. So so that was 2021. So by that stage, I was cooked, mate. I was done with parents. I was done with coaching. I didn't want to be around the club at that point in time as well.
so did you follow through the same team each year that you were coaching?
Almost. So I started coaching an under 11s team.
Yeah.
I did under 11s, under 12s, under 13s, and then I did under 13s again. So my son Evan always played up. So from when he joined the Comets in under 8s, he was always playing up because his older sister Stella was also there. So they played together.
Yep.
And then we held Evan back in under 13s for the second time. And that's when I sort of got a new group of kids. And then I followed them to under 14s, basically, and that was it.
Right. So did you find that as the years got on and as the kids got older, the pressure was intensifying? I mean, you know, in mini roos right now, I think, you know, we're not that bad. We experience a bit of pressure from parents and all that, but we're not that bad yet. I mean, they understand that we've just gone onto a bigger pitch, more players per pitch. So there's going to be a little bit more, I guess, less time of play for some players and all that.
Yeah.
But as you get older, for example, under 12s, you split off to, you know, your JPL side and your JSL side, which is
that's a whole nother kettle
like
of
the
fish.
Premier League versus the Amateur League type thing.
My son should be in a JPL. Why is he in a JSL?
And I, you know, over the weekend we did a coaching course, and I heard a lot of horror stories about certain parents ripping kids out of clubs because they didn't make the JPL.
Correct. Yeah.
Is that the type of pressure that you also faced?
Absolutely. So from under 12s upwards, as soon as you start talking points, that's a whole new ball game in terms of pressure.
So just for everyone listening, so you've got under 6s to under 11s. There's no points. There's no published results. There's no table, nothing. So from under 12s up to the first team, that's when they start recording results, who got sent off, red card, yellow card, substitution, ladders and cup finals and stuff like that. So from under 12s up.
Yep,
That's when parents start going nuts.
You touched on JPL. One letter makes such a big difference for some people as well. So the S, the JSL and the JPL, so the S and the P, and as you touched on as well, why isn't my son playing JPL? He's good enough. Why isn't he playing there? This, that, and the other. And what's really important to recognise at that point in time is what's more important. Are you happy for your kid to be playing 10 minutes or sitting on the bench for 90% of a game just to play JPL, or you should better be playing JSL and actually getting 90% of the game? In my opinion, you're always better playing football. Minutes and the legs are the most important things at a young age. If you're not doing that, you're not developing.
Well, you hear so many stories where I can't remember exactly who it was, but then they ended up playing for Socceroos. So that majority of their time they were playing in JSL. And then, do you know who I'm talking about? There was one player that ended up making Socceroos, and he was always playing JSL, and then something happened in the under 18s, and he just fucking blew up, and then he just went first team, and then I think he went and travelled a little bit, and then he became a Socceroo. Don't know who it is, but I remember
From
hearing
our
that
club?
story. No, not from our club.
Oh,
It was somewhere else, and then this guy was always playing in JSL like as a youth, and then he ended up just fucking so it doesn't really matter. You're better off getting the minutes rather than getting the JPL, like you said, and only playing fucking 10% or injury time or whatever you jump on, or in just cup games, and that's it. So I'd rather say if it came to it, if obviously Dimitri improved, and then he got into JSL, I'd rather him play JSL and get minutes rather than sitting on the bench for 10 minutes. I don't see the point for one letter.
Yep.
So I don't know.
a big shout out to Roberto Escobar. He's on the live stream.
Hola amigos.
Hola amigos, muchachos. Great episode last week. We'll touch on that a bit later. So George, obviously, how was your mental health in all this, where you pretty much go, you know what, I'm 50-50. I don't know yet what I'm going to do next year. Then all of a sudden, your son breaks his leg. That was your final straw. Where was your mind at?
It was a mess. I'll be completely honest with you. Work pressure alone was hard. Then James had broken his leg. I went on leave for a week to sort of help him learn to use his walker. You can imagine a young kid, 5 years old, 4 years old, I think it was at the time, or 5. Walking around, with a broken leg and walking around the house. But yeah, my mental health wasn't great, to be honest with you, and that was probably the start of what ended up being a really difficult transition into 2022, where I sort of went from not enjoying my escape from everything. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't go to the gym, clearly. So for me, my escape and the thing that I did and I loved.
Yet you outlasted him on Saturday in all the drills.
I'm pretty sure I did.
Yeah.
And I'm
think you
also a lot
megged me.
older.
I think you
A lot older.
A number of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, was it the first?
He's only got about, 20 years on you?
Relax
so. I
at
could be
20
his dad.
years.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we actually worked out. So I'm 32. He's 46.
46, man.
46. Yeah.
You were going to say 7.
Oh, I was going to say so. So my dad
So
is
in the modern world, he could be your dad.
100%.
100%.
Team dad.
I mean, Pablo Escobar was only 15 when he became a dad.
my
so.
dad was born in 1971. Well, you
77, mate.
yeah. So my dad is 50, turning 53 this year. So George can be my dad, yes.
Yeah.
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 How does it make you feel?
Anyways,
Great.
Anyway, yeah. So
he is fitter than you, okay?
On Saturday, we for those listening, we had us three of us had a coaching course because obviously George clearly needs it. And a part of the first drill was we need
Bit of a scratch match.
we need five players, whatever. And yeah, you were on my team.
I was on your team.
No, so it must have been after we were against each other.
That's right.
and you did this fucking Maradona turnaround thing, back heel, bounced off the fucking wall, and just off you went. I was like, that was for the other week, wasn't it? So
payback.
And I think Peter Thanos was on the sideline. He's like, "Fuck it, he really got you, man." I'm like, "Yeah, thanks, mate."
Yeah, that's because you were giving shit to Thanos about megging him.
Yeah,
And then he got you about 5 times after that. All right, so please excuse my co-hosts.
get a bit excited. I'm like the younger, immature one.
That's all right.
Yeah,
That's right, son.
yeah. No, he's dead.
Yeah, so you pretty much went into a spiral from there.
And as I said, so coaching was my escape. That's the thing that I love doing, you know. And I didn't have any joy in that anymore. So I'm like, what next, sort of thing. What am I doing? Ended 2021, I started getting pain down my left hand side of my arm and stuff like that. I was always having pins and needles and some numbness in my fingers. Anyway, I didn't know what was going on. Went to physio for about 6 weeks. Wasn't doing anything. Ended up getting some tests done, MRIs and CTs or whatever, and found that I had a disc bulge in my neck. Didn't think too much of it, you know. Sort of said, what can I do? Well, you know, time and rest will sort of help that go away. So got to Christmas time.
In 22?
Yeah,
21.
21.
Yep.
Had a break, went away, came back, felt fine, you know, sort of went away, all that sort of stuff, was feeling great. Went back to work for about 1 or 2 weeks, I think it was. And then the first day the kids were starting school in 2022, and I woke up in the middle of the night in just uncontrollable pain down my right-hand side. Just all of a sudden I'm like, I'm having a heart attack, like what's going on from my shoulder? So all down
Is it the same shoulder?
No,
the other one. The other one.
Yep, so I went from left side to right side. Could not move. Couldn't do anything. Couldn't lie in bed. Woke Katrina up, said, I don't know what's going on. You know, I'm having a heart attack. What's happening sort of thing. Anyway, went to the couch. Next morning when I woke up that day, I was just like next level pain. Never experienced anything like this before. I had pain going down basically my neck, right down the back of my tricep, came across into my forearm and into, you know, these 3 fingers sort of thing. Anyway, cut a long story short, I ended up, the disc bulge itself had moved to the right-hand side and it was pressing on a nerve. So I was having nerve pain, which was just, I don't even know how to describe it, you know.
Yeah.
I ended up not being able to drive for 2 months, not being able to use my fingers properly for a couple of months. People had to cut my food up for me.
Oh, what?
Yep, I had all sorts of pain. So I was coming to training sessions sometimes and I was watching and I was like, I had ice pack on my arm and this and that. And it's hard to see. Like if you've broken your leg or your arm, you know, you've got a cast on, there's been a point of pain and you're recovering. This thing was an invisible thing. You couldn't see it. So you couldn't tell that there was anything wrong apart from the fact that I couldn't use my arm properly. So anyway, I ended up having about close to 3 months worth off of work just to try and recover because the option was I went and saw a specialist and I said, what can I do? I had cortisone injections, this, that and the other. I couldn't sleep in my bed for 3 months. I had to sit in a recliner with about 4 or 5 pillows around me just so that I could try and get some pain relief and sleep in the end. So it was nuts. So you can imagine what that starts doing with your head over a period of time.
Absolutely.
You know, I'd been active in coaching and doing all these things and all of a sudden I can't even use my arm, you know. So that started a sort of downward spiral for me and I sort of went back to work. I think it was May. I went for a couple of weeks and it just wasn't getting any better. Went back to the specialist, said, what can I do? He goes, we'll do another cortisone shot. If this doesn't work, you're looking at surgery. I'm like, oh, what's surgery involved with this sort of thing? Anyway, we cut your neck, we push your sort of throat over and we fuse the discs from the front. And I'm like, okay, so what's my other option here? He goes, if you've got the time, take the time because the body will heal itself of a disc bulge and hopefully, you know, the pressure will go away from the nerve. And
because you hear all these stories when the fusion and it just, you're fucked for life.
Yep, absolutely.
You even like, I know it's probably not the same, but you hear all these wrestlers' stories where, say, Stone Cold Steve Austin, he had a fusion, he's fucked. Kurt Angle, he broke his neck, he had a fusion, he's fucked. Like now, like in their 50s, they're fucked. Yeah. They can't move. Like Kurt Angle will say, I can only move my neck. I can't do a full turn. I can only move a little bit. So it's like, man, when you start hearing fusion, you're like, don't want to do that.
Yeah, don't want to do that. No. And that was the option. So I said, okay, so I decided to take the year off of work. to be honest with you, in the end. And it was good and bad. Like it gave me the time to heal naturally, and it did disappear over time. But during that period of time, the less and less you do, your head's just not in the right space. Obviously, we had moved in with my parents as well that year because we were renovating. So I was living at mum and dad's with our family, with mum and dad, and we were lucky that we got to do that as well. But I was at home all day long, sitting in bed, not doing anything. So I was just spiraling into this deep pattern of depression. So,
Right. So, you've obviously hit on the word depression. Was your work supportive about it all?
They were supportive. Halfway through the year, though, the contract that I'd actually had at work wasn't going to be renewed. So again, I was in a project role, and the decision was made not to renew my contract. So that, again, was like another thing that I was sort of dealing with mentally.
When was that, in 21?
That was in 22.
22,
yep. So middle of the year, 22,
Yep.
So work was supportive. My boss, to his credit, sort of said, look, take the time that you need. Something will be here for you when you get back. We can't guarantee it's the same role, but, take the time and I've got your back sort of thing as well. So
I've got a question here from Michaela. Did the MRI detect the bulge? What tests did they do to determine the issue?
Yeah, so at first I had a CT scan.
Yeah.
That showed up the bulge, and then before I went and saw the specialist in January, I had an MRI done, and that showed the full extent of the bulge. So the doctor actually asked me if I'd been in a car crash. He said what we're seeing is normally synonymous with some form of trauma.
So what did you do?
No idea.
Nothing.
Nothing.
It just happened.
Just out of nowhere. As I said, I was fine. Next morning I woke up and I was just in agony. So, yeah.
Did it ever cross your mind that it could have been a stress related?
Yeah, I think so.
Obviously, at the time, things may have seemed like they were okay and all that, but this obviously happened after little James, had his injury and all that.
Yep.
So did it ever cross your mind that this could be the start?
Yeah, absolutely.
Of stress?
Could have been. Yeah. Well, it's all around the same time. So.
Yeah, it's all around the same.
Because I've heard lots of stories of people where their body just isn't right when they're stressed.
Yeah.
All type of things pop out, and get all these weird.
We get like rashes, like stress rashes,
yeah,
all that sort of stuff.
All types of injuries.
Look, I'm going to go controversial here and go COVID. It just happened that when I'd had my first shot of COVID, it was probably September, my vaccination. October, I got my left side happening. January, I had my booster, and then not long after, I'd had this. So it could be a reaction.
Yeah,
to that.
right.
Who knows?
Who knows,
Yeah.
No one knows for certain, at the end of the day.
Yeah,
but,
well, I've heard plenty of those stories, mate.
We won't go there. That's, But yeah, look, stress definitely. I'm a stressful person. I'm a stressor. I'm an overthinker. I'm an overanalyzer.
Are you listening to this? He's naturally a stressful person. I've never seen this bloke stressed.
Seriously?
I've never seen you stressed.
Come over to the blue team for about 5 minutes.
Hey, last year I used to love him taking the sessions. Like, on Fridays we would have our mixed boys, and I loved you taking the sessions. You were so calm, collected. Me, I'd be like ready to rip shit up, and you're just like, obviously that's something that you've learned through these ordeals that you've been through.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what steps did you take other than resting and sleeping all the time? What steps did you take to get yourself back into the George that you knew?
Yep. So one thing that I did, there was a few things, but I went and saw someone. So I went and saw a psychologist. Went and saw my doctor, told him what was going on. He recommended I'd see a psychologist. I'm like, yep, I'm open to that.
So like a mental health plan?
Yeah, mental health plan. Yep. I went on medication as well, just to help me because I'd had a previous issue with depression probably about 5 years before that as well. So, I knew that medication had helped me in the past as well. So I was open to it and, to be completely honest, still on it now as well because it helps at the end of the day.
Do you watch The Simpsons? Really random question. No. Do you watch The Simpsons?
Oh, every now and again. Not like religion. When I was younger, I did.
Yeah, when I was younger, I did,
Okay, when you were younger. Do you ever remember the episode where it was focused on Homer Simpson and how he lost his hair?
No.
Every time Marge mentioned that she's
He was
pregnant.
He pulled his hair out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that part of the depression here? Like every time your wife goes, "Oh shit, I'm pregnant."
Who knows? Yeah. Look, it's one of those things.
Sorry,
that I always,
Katrina.
No, that's fine. I'm always happy when she tells me that it's a certain time of the month. I'm thinking, yes, no children.
good.
That's great. That's relief these days. So.
All right, sorry, go on.
Yeah. So that were the sort of things that I did. I sort of made a bit of a conscious plan to start exercising a bit, and when I say exercising, it was a bit of walking as well, just trying to have purpose in my day as well. So what I found was, without purpose, I would sleep till God knows what time. I'd watch a movie. I'd just sit in front of Netflix all day long, and then come the afternoon, I'd sleep for like 2 hours, 2-3 hours, and then I wouldn't sleep at night. I'd be up all night.
Oh, that's fucked.
So I was awake. But I started having purpose. So as I said, we were renovating. So I started making more of an effort when the pain had sort of gone away, and I then started focusing on, okay, how do I get myself better? I'd go to the house and do stuff at the house as well. So having a purpose was really, really important for me, because without that, you just go on. The day just turned to night, and before you knew it, a month had gone by and you'd achieved nothing. So So purpose was important. And then I think about halfway through the year, I reckon I spoke to you about, do you need a hand with training sort of thing. I didn't want to, come in and take over or anything. I said, but I'm happy to just give you a bit of a hand with some training sessions. We started introducing, I think, the Monday night training sessions.
Yep.
Additionally to the Wednesday or Friday sessions.
Fridays and Mondays, yeah.
And slowly but surely, I guess.
The controversial Mondays.
The Mondays.
Oh, yeah. Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Oh, I even went up for that meeting and everyone was fucking against me.
Yeah.
I was like, this is fucking bullshit.
Right. But yeah, I guess through that, my passion for coaching slowly started coming back as well. And as I said, when I first started coaching as a coach, it was under 11s. So these were older kids. These were 6-year-old kids. And I thought, you know what, if I can have a positive impact on these kids from 6 years old in terms of learning how to play the game well, being a good person, being respectful, all those sort of things, that for me is, something I connect with as well.
And that was a big thing, like, for both of us. Like, I remember, I think it was like last year's speech at the thing, I just kept going on and on and on about not only are we trying to get them to be decent athletes, but also good, like, boys, like young men. If we can, but either myself or George, just instill a little bit of something in their lives, that's what you want. And I remember we touched on it at the course. I remember, I don't know if it was under 6s or maybe beginning of under 7s.
Yeah, under 7s, I think.
All these blokes, in the 16s, 17s, 18s, even the resis or whatever, they were coming up, hey, George, what's going on? Hey, George, what's going on? And I turned to George and go, fuck, do you know all of them? He goes, I coached all of them. And then I remember you saying, like, this is why you coach. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, obviously I've had an impact in all of their lives, and they always come up to me and, hey, Garn, man, hey, Garn. And then you see them succeed. And if you see them succeed, you feel like you've accomplished something. And I remember saying that at the coaching course, and they go, they made a bit of a joke of it. Just turn to the person next to you and have a conversation, get to know them. So I'm like, hey, George, And I go, look, his favourite movie is Man on Fire and whatever. And I go, George, he's always said, or if you're doing this coaching to, for you, what your kick is seeing them succeed, and if you see them succeed, then you feel like you've done something positive in their lives.
100%.
And from when he said that last year, I'm like, I really want to, that's what I want to do. Even if we go up to under 11s, or if we end up going, well, we haven't even discussed that. Like, even if we do then go to under 12s or whatever,
I'll be 60 by then, mate.
You will not be 60. and I even said to him, when Theodore comes into under 60s, you're fucking coming back down with me. And he's like, I'll be in a wheelchair. I'm like, no, you won't. It's 40. You'll be 50. You'll be 50.
Can I just pause right there for a sec? It's hard having multiple kids in the same sport, right? Like right now, I mean, I was blessed last week. I got to watch him, but I can't be at my second son's training, and I can't help develop him in the football. I have to leave it to someone else to do because I'm focusing on the under eights.
Yeah.
So I can't be part of that under six system.
You think it's bad? Try being fucking George.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's just me with 2 kids.
Yeah.
Now, we're talking to a guy who has 4 kids involved in the sport. And, I mean, obviously, you know, you're focusing on the one. But had you tried to manage and juggle all of them, like, you know, I know that there would be moments where you can't be at every kid's games.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
You know, mind you, I watched the replay of last week's 18s. That was a ripper goal.
Nice goal.
That was a ripper
I haven't
goal.
even seen the goal. Evan's goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad.
Was it the second to last goal? Or was it the last goal?
Yeah, it was the third goal in the game.
Third goal. Fuck, I haven't seen it.
Just a comment that's popped up. So Roberto says, stress manifests itself in many physical illnesses. Did you experience headaches at this time?
Yeah, headaches, nausea, just... I guess I was just questioning myself all the time as well, you know. You second guess yourself, you think, you know. Yeah, I didn't feel right. I knew I didn't feel right. You know.
So on that question, just an experience that I had. So after my father died, I was going through a bit of a bad patch myself, right? And I just remember there was that one time, and this is like, you know, we're talking about a month after he passed. There was this one time where I just woke up in the middle of the night, sweating. I wasn't sick, but I was sweating. I was shaking, and I had this massive headache. My head was just banging like I had been partying all night type banging. I just couldn't explain. And then I woke up, I tried to go back to sleep. I couldn't go back to sleep. When I eventually got out of bed, I felt drained. I felt like I just had no motivation to do anything that day. And I had to go talk to my doctor, and he goes, I think your body is going through a very stressful change right now because Dad had died. I just lost my job because my mind wasn't on the job, and they weren't compassionate with me on what had just happened in my life. So I lost my job. I then gained the pressures of being the alpha male in my entire family. So I had my mum asking me all these property questions that Dad left behind. I had my sister who was, you know, like, oh, you know, you're the oldest now. You got to work this shit out. Then I had to look after my wife and my 2 kids to the best that I could and help her out. Plus, I was jobless. Plus, all this, and it just got to the point where my body just goes, nah, we can't do this anymore. You're going to either have a heart attack or something's not going to sit well. So I had to go see someone too. And I went to my GP, who also sent me onto like a plan. And it's true. Like, you may not know that you're having that panic attack, that real bad spiral downwards until something happens to your body that it just goes, nah, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, and I had to talk about that to the psychologist, who then goes, yeah, you know what? You know, you're going through a bit of a stress and depression at the same time. So, you know, I did the same. Like, I had to work my way out of it because I didn't want to be on medications. And although I know they're there to help, I didn't want to. I said, no, I can do this. So just the more I talked to this psychologist, the more it helped. You know, my mind slowly, and then I ended up getting a job. I found myself again. I found my happiness. The new season of football started. So I started, you know, got back into the coaching and all that. And, you know, then I had my ways out, my DJing, my music. So I had my ways out. But it's very important, very important. The mind is the most important part of the human body.
100%.
And if it's not there, then you're not
Game
there.
over.
Yeah.
We've got another question here
from Father Michael Stamati. So, hello, Father Michael. We're going to get you on soon as well. He goes, hello, and thank you for this open interview and discussion. How have you found adapting to who you have become post your bulge disc ordeal? Do you feel like you wish you could go to the pre-ordeal version of yourself, or do you feel like you have and or are developing tools since your ordeal that are helping you develop as a person?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
So would you like to go back pre-ordeal or the person you are today?
To be honest with you, I'd probably say the person I am today.
Yeah.
I think you learn through your experiences as well. You probably went through something similar. I'm at the point now where I took a redundancy at the end of last year and still not working and loving it, to be completely honest. It's not good in the bank balance, but you know what? If I hadn't been through what I
Are you doing the cooking?
No.
If it's a barbecue, no. That's what I've always said.
Barbecue,
If it's a
mate. Barbecue and
barbecue,
eggs.
no problem. If it's anything on the count, forget it. I'll poison everyone.
Yeah. So yeah, I took a redundancy at the end of last year. Now, I remember speaking to my dad about it at the time, and he was like, "It's not a good idea, George. You've got a family. You can't be doing that sort of stuff. Is that really the best thing to do? You can kiss coaching goodbye if you quit your job from the public service and find something else." I'm like,
Hey,
yeah,
hey, can't fucking do that. You leave me like that.
But to be honest, I wouldn't have made that decision to take the redundancy and have a crack at something else had I not been through what I've been through, I guess, at the end of the day. So my preference would be to stay in the current and not go back to the person I was before, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I think it's a really good question. But, for me, you learn through your experiences at the end of the day.
100%.
We talk about that at soccer. You only become successful by making mistakes.
Yep.
So that's really, really important. If there's a message out there for anyone, just, go for it at the end of the day. Take the plunge.
You want to take that one?
We've got another one here too.
Yeah, easy. So,
Kathy.
So you are dealing with this by doing something about it. I have worked in SA Health, and there is a big increase with mental health, i.e. with depression and anxiety issues, and they can't deal with it. Very proud of you guys. So I guess, that's just not so much a question, but so much, that it is a real thing. And I mean, this is the thing that we keep banging on about. We keep mentioning how there's not enough focus on mental health from our health departments. The government doesn't seem to think that mental health is a problem. And now all of a sudden, they've chopped all this funding to non-for-profit organizations that do help with mental health. And they've gone and opened up an urgent mental health, but there's like a 12-month wait to go. I don't understand the whole urgent mental health part behind it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. And who else we got here? We got another one from Roberto. The journey is what it's all about. So just be the person you are today. The experience will shape you. Are we back on yet? Because I know we've been frozen for a minute.
That's okay. Keep talking.
Where are we? So the journey is what it's all about. So just be the person you are today. The experience will shape you and inform you. There's a silver lining in every cloud. Very true.
That's true.
Very true, So,
all right. So from then 2022 back into 2022, that's when you and I started working together. And you were saying you found your passion again for coaching soccer. Do you find it more rewarding coaching the kids from young or taking over from, like, say, what would you say, under 11s?
Under 11s, yeah.
Where would you? I know it's like trying to pick your favourite child, but where would you? Do you think maybe grabbing him from under sixes and going as far as you can, or from the success you had in under 13s and 14s? Where do you think? What's more rewarding? I understand like you win cups, titles, and all that sort of stuff, but yeah, where do you get? Is it the gratification? Gratification the right word? Yeah. Out of the two, do you think?
Yeah, I reckon.
Which one's easier?
Oh. Yeah, that's another discussion point. But yeah, you know what? It's different. It really is. And to answer your question, I think for me it's the younger age group because
is it easier or
not easier, but I think it's probably more rewarding as well. If you think about what impact you can have from on a child that's 6 years old through to 11, say, in terms of developing that child as not just a soccer player, but also a young boy as well, you know, in terms of learning some key life skills around things like dealing with setbacks, resilience, what other things, you know, respect, all of those sort of things I think are really important as well. So if you can help shape that child somewhat from a younger age, I think for me that's probably more gratifying than winning cups and all of that sort of stuff as well. And as I said, you know, if you answer the question, why do we coach? It's not to win cups. It's not to they're byproducts, I guess, of everything else that we do and why we do it. You know what I mean? It's to develop these kids to their full potential. Yeah. You know, and someone's full potential might be playing JSL, but that's fine because that's what they want to do. They're happy doing that. They're happy playing, you know, 90% of a game. Other kids might want to go on and play for Australia. Not everyone's going to make it. We know that. But we're doing what we can do, I guess, at the end of the day to try and help those kids become a better version of themselves. So.
Yeah, I remember I was speaking to someone, I can't remember who it was now, and they were talking about, there was like the bit of the debate between the JPL and JSL, and it was one parent, back to what we were saying before, like your game time, they were quite happy for their kid to play JSL because they were just getting the time, and then eventually it's something to work towards, like, okay, you're not happy with JSL? All right, what can we do to get you back into JPL? Yeah. And getting more game time will obviously help you get there. So I can't remember who it was now I was speaking to about it. And they were saying, they were happy playing JSL. And I think once they hit the under 18s, they were back in the JPL again. Yeah.
Everyone develops a different rate. I've had kids that were sort of pigeonholed JSL players, and we had a boy, you talk about commitment, this young lad's parents used to drive him from Loxton twice a week to come to training.
Wow.
Far out.
2.5 hour drive, you know, to come to training. And this kid started in our JSL. We picked him up, came to JSL. I brought him into our JPL team the year after he arrived, and this kid ended up becoming captain of the under-15s JPL team. So, you know, kids do develop at different rates as well. So what you might think is a JSL player now might become a JPL player. You just don't know, you know, and depends on how bad they want it. You know, we talk about that, you know, at the end of the day, it's up to the kid. If they really love what they're doing, they're going to do the stuff outside of training. We can only do so much in the 2 hours we've got them for each week, you know what I mean? But it's, are we inspiring these kids to want to go and do their own stuff outside of training?
We were talking about that last week. Like even like with Dimitri, I know he's sort of like, he's obviously behind everyone else at this point. But I even introduced, like, not as a currency thing. Like, you know, I don't think by you saying, I'll give you, you know, $50 a goal, $100 a goal, I don't think that is going to help them develop. That'll just make them a selfish player. And then, you know, they'll just be tunnel vision and just looking at the goal and not seeing their teammates around them. All right. So I said to Dimitri, I go, look, this is, you know, his birthday's coming up and he wants a gaming setup. And I said to him, okay. So
you want it or you want it?
No, he wants it, man. I'm not really good with computers, right? And computers not really, but technical shit, you know, not bad, right? Anyway, I said to him, okay, so what do you want? He goes, Dad, I want a computer desk in my room, a chair. So okay. He goes, I want a keyboard that lights up and a mouse that lights up. He goes, I want I don't know whether he wants like a computer or a laptop, but then he also wants like a screen. I'm like, listen, man, that's I think I might have to get like the grandparents on board with this as well, right? Because this is very expensive ordeal, right? So I said to him, okay, mate, this is what you want. What I want from you is 100% commitment when you're playing soccer with your teammates, right? I don't expect you to score all these goals, whatever, because look, you're a bit away from that, okay? So what I'll do, I'll introduce a point system. Your computer/laptop or whatever, each item that you want is valued at a certain amount of points. So like the laptop is worth 30 points. The desk is worth 20 points. I think, what did I work out? The chair's worth 15. The keyboard is 10, mouse is 10. Anyway, so you get the gist of it, right? And the monitor's like 40 points or whatever. Okay. So your training and your game day, it's out of 5 points. Right? So if you train well, if you train really well, you get 5 points. If you train good, you get 4. If you train whatever, 2.5 points, right? He goes, oh, okay, all right. So far he's up to, so we started at, I think, what was it, last week, right? So the first training session, it was about 2.5 points, I think we worked out to be. The second training session, I think I worked out it was 4. And then tonight was about, I think, 4 or 4.5, right?
He didn't do that well tonight.
Yes, he fucking did. Shut up.
I'll dock him 2 points.
Oh, okay. Right. Anyway, so I go, look, and it's completely up to you. He goes, oh, but Dad, my birthday's in May, so I don't think I'll get enough points. I said, that's fine, right? If I'm not home, you go grab out one of those fold-out goals and you go in the front yard and you start kicking the ball. I can see you on the cameras, mate. You know what I mean? I go, so if you go by yourself and you kick the ball, you get the goals out, the cones are in the garage. I go, mate, you want some bonus points? That's what you do. So it's not about scoring goals or whatever. It's about your effort and performance. So he's yet to, I don't think, play a game with this whole point structure thing. But I think that's a better option than having a dollar value on the goals you score. And I said, I'll go, look, if you score a goal, you get a bonus 5 points, right? But I think having the which one, the second one?
Record that.
Having the point structure, I think, is a better option than, like I said, a currency option. I don't know.
No, I agree.
Your view on that?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I think at the end of the day, you got to remember the game we're playing in coaching is a team sport. You want to be an individual, you can go and play tennis or golf or swimming or do something else, So I think the hard part for us is actually trying to make sure that everyone's on board with that as well. I think for us, we know what we're trying to achieve as coaches, but sometimes, rightly or wrongly, parents focus on their child and make sure, scoring a goal is the most important thing. Well, it's not. For me, it's like, what have you done to contribute to that goal? That's worth more to me than it is actually scoring a goal.
Yeah.
So I think if you can give them an incentive that links towards that team goal, then even better.
Yeah. So. I think George Aga said something tonight. He goes, like, when he speaks to his team, he goes, you're not here to be the best. You're here to make each other the best. I was like, well, it was something along the lines of that. I'm like, far out, mate. That's a good one. Like, he goes, you're not supposed to be great. You're not here to be great or the best. You're here to make you all great as a collective.
Sense. Yep.
I said, fuck, I'm going to use that as mine from now on. So I think, look, each coach has got their philosophy on how to go about it. It doesn't matter how you go about it. It just matters the end result. And if you like I said, make a positive impact in all these kids' lives, then you're doing well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So now you've got your passion back. I can see you now. Yeah, you're fucking loving life at the moment, coaching. I don't know. How do you think we're doing this year so far?
So far, so good, I reckon. I think it's look, it's still early days. We've got a couple of new players that have come into the squad as well this year.
Mm-hmm.
The big change from 4-a-side to 7-a-side as well. You know,
With a keeper.
And a keeper. You know, a lot of things change in terms of, you know, for us as well as coaches, there's obviously formation changes, structure changes.
Even today, we're sending
There's more.
photos.
Yeah.
There's more. It's more tactical. You know, you gotta come up with more strategy now. Whereas last year, you know, you had your 4 players.
Yeah.
You know, okay, yep, this kid strengthens here, but you had the opportunity to play them around in positions so they could adapt a bit better.
Right. Yeah.
This year it's a little bit more strategic. You know, you got to play those players with the strength in that particular position.
Yeah.
And, you know, the problem that I'm facing is that I have 11 kids on the bench. In a team of 7, I have 4 on the bench.
On the bench, that's a lot.
So we had a couple of games, you know, against some pretty good teams. And what I noticed is when I made, you know, it was pre-season. So to me, it was all about giving the kids a fair run. Changing 4 players at once was a very bad thing, because it completely changed the dynamic. And I remember when I was coaching under 6s and 7s, there were times where I had 3 on the bench and I'd change all 3 at the same time, would completely change that dynamic. So having 4 now, and even though you think, oh, I'll keep the ones that are playing well up the front, but then, you know, you're changing the dynamics of the back line and the sides and all that. It's like, whoa, that ain't working. Especially when you've got, you know, of those 4 new players that you've picked up, 3 are fresh into the sport.
Yeah.
You know, that's one question. Like, why are we allowing at that age to bring in underdeveloped, never played before players?
Yeah.
They've got to fucking come in sometime, don't they?
You know what's interesting? Like, it's
But
a good point.
again, like, you know, and this goes back to the whole parents thing. There are nights where my assistant coach can't be there because he's a neurosurgeon and he's got, you know, emergency call outs and stuff like that, right? Then I'm left on my own to
Handle 11 kids.
kids. Now, that's not the problem and that's not the pressure. The pressure is trying to keep the more established players entertained and on the game, you know, focus and all that, without boring them.
Yeah, once you lose their attention span,
Engagement is huge.
Yeah, so that's my problem, because then I have to focus on these new kids and go, okay, no, this is how we do this and this is why we do that and rah.
Yeah.
So
no, I'm with you. No, it's yeah. Once you lose their focus, you're done for. And I'm finding, like, if you know, even if you have like a larger group, you know, it is a bit harder. So it's probably worth, you know, trying to split them up. But then if you split them up, then why is he on that side and why is he on that side? Like trying to keep everybody happy is that's another thing in itself, really.
Yeah.
So, but you know.
And you know what? I mean, I think back to, I started playing club soccer at 13 years old. You know, that was a year 8 when I started playing club soccer. But school soccer back then was pretty competitive. Whereas if you look at what school soccer's become now, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's about participation and everyone having a run and all that sort of stuff. But, you know, kids aren't developing that. There's, you know, you're either a club player or you're a school soccer player as well. Whereas everyone wants to be a club player now. And there are kids that are coming in at different levels as well. So you're going to continue having that.
One of our kids last year, he was playing school, he was playing club, and then he was doing something else. and he just like in the beginning of the season he was ripper, but then on the back end of the season you could just see him just.
It was a bit burnt out.
He was burnt out.
Like it was,
So it's just
yeah.
pick one thing, give it your all, be good at it, and and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. It's just I think sometimes we expect too much from our kids, and we've got to remember they're like 6, 7, 8 years old. Just let them enjoy doing. If it has to be one thing, then so be it.
Yeah.
But even like you going through club soccer. So what age did you start playing?
So I started playing soccer at probably 5. So I had my dad coach me.
Yeah.
As well. So
Okay.
I've been through that as well. So I've been on the other end, having my dad, and I love dad coaching me as well.
Yeah.
But he was tough.
Yeah.
He was tough on me.
He wasn't going easy on you.
No, there was no going easy. Mate. There's no such thing as
That's the
going
other
easy.
thing
So,
too. Like even with you and James, like you expect a certain I don't know standard from him, and then I think even with Dimitri, I'm always like, hey Dimitri, do this. Oh Dimitri, do that. And then when we had our course on the weekend, they said, what do you think it's going to do to that child if you're constantly calling their name? And then it just got me thinking, James must hate his dad.
I don't know that he admit it, but I'm pretty sure he does.
Yeah.
There's times in my training where I think about that, and there was moments last year where I was a little bit harsh and critical on my own son, but I'm his dad. Like, I feel, I can be harsh and critical on him because he's my kid. And there were moments where other parents, or whether they be from my team or whether they were from the opposition team, would go, hey, that's a bit full on, don't you think? Like, the kid's only 7. I go, yeah, but that's my son. And then I had to think about it and go, you know what? You're right. Like, yeah, he's my son, but on that pitch, he's another player of that team.
Yeah.
So, I had to strategically change that and go, right, hang on a second. On that pitch, I will treat him just like I will,
Anyone else.
And then
But if anything,
afterwards,
you're
I can
harsher on
cater.
them.
I can say, hey, listen, what I didn't like about, your effort today, or, what you did here and there, what I didn't like. So, and I wouldn't say in a harsh way. You end of the day, you still got to be a parent. You're coaching, yes, I get it. That's the whole thing. Like, you want that kid to not think of you as dad for that hour, but you're still the parent.
You're still the parent. And you know what? I've in reflection of my years of coaching, one thing I guess that I'm probably, my kids suffered as a result of me coaching was because I was too good and too nice to everyone else's kids. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but my kids would get less game time because I felt that I was being judged to make sure that, kids would get equal game time or whatever it was. And I'd take Evan off because I probably coached him the most out of all of my kids so far. Stella had gone off and into the program by that stage anyway. But Evan, I don't know if I held him back, but I was always the one taking him off the field saying, all right, Evan, have a break. Not have other parents saying, you're too tough on him. Just let him play. But, it's this thing that goes on in your head that you think, am I doing the right thing, aren't I? And as I said, I'm an overthinker. I'm a people pleaser. I'm all these things. I try and do the right thing by everybody at the detriment of my own kids.
I think, and I think that we all have that similarity where we want to make sure that everyone else around us is pleased before we worry about ourselves.
Yeah.
And you're right. That's where the disadvantage comes in with the children that, if you keep doing that and you keep treating your child differently, then they're the ones at disadvantage.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, again, like you're saying, they're probably the ones that are at disadvantage because then, you'll take your son off more than others because, I don't know what is everyone else going to think. which isn't fair. But
Look, I know coaches that will say, right, my son, you're going to take every free kick, every penalty, every corner, everything.
yeah, see, that's fucked.
And it doesn't sit well with me. It's like, well, why are you coaching if you're just going to try and make your kid better at the end of the day as well? That's not your job. You're there trying to look after 11 kids. When you get older, 16 kids you're responsible for at the end of the day. So
no, it's
doesn't sit well with me.
no. Look, if your kid is the best by far out of the team,
Yep.
okay, well then he deserves to be at that point.
Yeah.
But then you hear so many stories. It's like, coaches' sons are in the first team because they're the first team coach, or they're in the JPL team because they're the JPL coach.
Yeah.
It's like, well, there's probably other better kids, much better kids that you've now put in the JSL league because you needed a spot for your son or your daughter or whatever.
That's right.
It's just like
Correct.
But it is what it is.
Yep.
These things happen. But I think us three we're on the same sort of page where I'd rather take off my son or you'll do the same for yours, you'll do the same for yours, just so parents don't talk. But it's like,
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's we're in a difficult spot. We are in a very difficult spot, and again, our kids are only 8 years old, 7 and 8 years old. Some aren't even 7, and at this age, the main priority on that pitch is making sure the kids are having fun.
Absolutely.
that's right.
And making sure the kids are loving the game.
Yep.
Well, and that's what they said at the
Right?
course.
If you can't teach a child at this age where their brain is a sponge to love the game, then you're gonna go through the stages where they're just going to start hating and resenting the game.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they said. Your job is to get these kids from from under 6s to under 11s to love the game, want them to come back to the game. And if you're always just barking at your kid or barking at one particular player, they're not going to want to come back. Like I remember, he's sort of my cousin, right? He used to play for Blue Eagles, right? What was that? Was that your watch?
That was my
Pacemaker.
my pacemaker again.
Try again later. What's that? Jump starting the heart. I remember he was playing for the Blue Eagles, and then at that, I think it was under 13s or 14s, 15s, whatever. They got taken to Hungary for the I can't remember what under 13s World Cup or something like that, or development program. Anyway, he got injured first game, so that was it for him. But when he came back, he got a new coach, and the coach was a dick. And obviously for him then to get picked to go, he must have been a decent player, and he was a decent player. And then he, when he came back, the coach was a dick, and then he gave up the sport. What could have been, you know what I mean? And then he took up, I think, Muay Thai, or he'll hear this and he knows exactly what I'm talking about. But you could get that one coach that just throws you off.
Breaks,
and that's it for that kid. What could have been? So then, going through this course, they were talking about things like that. It's like, it gets you thinking. It's like, oh, fuck, should I be that harsh on that particular player? Should I be that harsh on that? Should I be that harsh on my own son?
Should I threaten him to walk home?
I was going to say, does George think the same thing about his son? But it's a real thing, and you sort of look. You got to be firm, because they'll never learn or anything like that. Look, you got to be firm but fair. So that's, you got to find that.
Do you know? Funny you say that. I used that exact term in a job interview. I was going for a job interview as a team leader.
Yeah.
And I used firm but fair.
Yeah. Did you get the job?
Right? Nah.
Okay.
No.
Excellent.
That's
No.
fantastic.
Because they're like, well, what are you, firm or are you fair? And I said, why can't I be a bit of both?
It'll be a happy medium.
Firm as in, I will make sure everyone does everything right as a per policy and procedures. But fair as in, I want to make sure that the team is treated right, the well-being is right, that we have a bit of fun as well.
Yep.
And it's like, it didn't.
Well, look, even at this point now, we usually put on. We usually start with a stronger side, but then make sure everyone gets equal playing time at under eights. Like
It's under eights.
It's under eights at the end of the day.
It's not the World
Well,
Cup.
I know goals and points and all that don't matter at this age, but a few weeks ago we had the gala day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Knowing that I had 11 kids and it was going to be an absolute nightmare to try and fit all players on equal time in the 20-minute time slot that we got.
Yes.
Right?
That was a bit.
I thought, right, what am I going to do? So I loaded my team up in the first 5 minutes.
Roberto, so glad my dad didn't coach me.
Which one of the two?
Thanks everyone for sticking on. I know we got a bit of technical difficulties.
Yeah, we
with the
do
video.
apologise. We've got a bit of video difficulties. For some reason, one of my video cameras has died and it's not recharging.
Yeah.
So I think something's just happened.
So, but the audio's still there, which is so thanks for sticking on. Yeah, go on.
But now I forgot where I was going.
20
so
minutes
I loaded my team up and I go, right, guys, let's slot a few goals in because I know that the second I'm bringing the other boys on, our defence line is going to completely crumble. Mm-hmm. And I kid you not, in those first 5 minutes, we scored about 5 goals. And I go, yeah, that's a good buffer. Yeah. We're good. We're good.
So now whatever you do, it doesn't really matter.
And then, we bought the all 4 new players on.
Yep.
We copped about 2. And, hands down, our keeper was phenomenal in saving quite a number of, kicks and goals. But the ones that did go through were pure mistakes of defence, and you're going to expect that. They're 8 years old, man. Yeah. You're not going to expect these guys to friggin' be, the best defence line ever. Yeah. Anyway, but then, you bring those other players back on, thump another few on top. Yeah. Just make sure that, everyone's feeling all good and okay.
And I was reffing that game, and I think it was the second team you played. They had I don't know, do I say the name, who the coach was, or do I just not?
Oh, no, you could say. I don't think it minds.
Yeah, so
the goalkeeper was the son of one of South Australia's best ever.
Eugene Galekovic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So his son was, what I didn't know was his son at the time. Anyway, you guys beat him, but some of the saves this kid was ripping out, I'm talking diving saves, top left hand, top right hand, bottom, getting down. And I think it was through the game, I turned to Eugene, I'm like, fuck, is he your boy? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, well, that explains it. Yeah. He was out of all the games that we've played, he was the best goalkeeper, hands down, by a mile. Yep. He was fantastic, and he was going for the diving saves, and I was like,
that is the game that my team won 9-0, right?
No. You beat this team
9-0.
No,
they didn't score against us.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Don't the scoreline.
So, had he not been in goals, what would the score have been? I guess is my point.
Heaps.
Yep.
But again, a goalkeeper is only as good as his defence is.
Yep. And the first line of defence, as we tell the kids, is the striker is our first line of defence. Yeah. Their job is to press straight away. If they're not doing that, that's the first line of defence for any team.
Yeah,
but this is.
Can you tell we're passionate about coaching?
Yeah, and it is. It's a learning curve for me going from 4-a-side to you've been there, you've done that. Me and Stamati.
Were they 11-a-side in under 14s?
Yeah, so from under 12s up.
But I think now they're not.
So now what they've decided to do is from under 12s. Well, under 12s was 11-a-side.
Now it's
and a full-size pitch. Now it's 9-a-side and a 3/4-size pitch. Yeah. And the reason for that is you've got kids that are developing at different heights. You've got some kids that are turning 12, 13 that are 6 foot, and some that are still, 4 foot nothing. So if you've got a goalkeeper in goals and a full-size goal, you imagine this huge goal, You know, and you've
It's a
got
little
some decent
kid.
strikers. They're just going to be bobbing goals in, and how's that good for anybody at the end of the day? So, and more touches on the ball as well. With a
that's
pitch. So,
yeah,
that's what they do in Europe. So,
well,
so
follow the rest of the
seems
world. I
to,
guess.
you know,
Seems to be working.
they seem to be doing well.
Especially
You know, I go
Brazil.
back. I'm just going back to Roberto Escobar's comment where he's glad his dad didn't coach him. And I'm thinking, can you imagine? I mean, he's a good wicket keeper from what we learned.
Yeah.
Can you imagine his biological dad throwing a few 8 balls at him?
Oh, did you have to say that?
Roberto, reach out if you don't know what I just said there. It might be Australian slang for all I know.
Yeah.
Wow. So, yeah, I mean, you know, I think I'm enjoying the, you know, the development, watching the development of these kids.
Yep.
Absolutely loving it. And, you know, some of the kids that I'm coaching, I've been with since under 6.
Yep.
And then some came on under 7. And now I've got a fresh group of kids plus the ones that I already had.
Yeah.
The ones that I've had have definitely stepped up that notch this year.
Oh, yeah.
You know, a lot go to academies, a
agree
lot
with that.
practice at home,
Yeah.
you know.
Yep.
There's even watching your team. Your team has stepped up a notch this year, you know, and they've really adapted well to that bigger pitch. It's good. It's a good thing. He's waiting for me to say it. He's, you
I
know,
know, I'm waiting.
No.
you know,
No.
Oh, you got a question?
oh, 8 balls. Last time I looked, I had.
Last time I looked, I had 2.
Very good. But, you know, to me, I'm just really proud of these kids and the way that they're developing. And, you know, not only that, but they've become mates. You know,
Yeah, you can
and
see the bond between them.
the whole point of me putting James in football was to gain a group of friends that are not in any way associated with school.
Cool, absolutely.
Man, I love it when, like, after a training session, we haven't really done it this year, but after a training session, you know, we'll just go to Macca's as a team or go upstairs as a team. You know,
You did Macca's as a team?
Huh?
You've done Macca's as a team?
Like, we've gone to eat at Macca's.
Really?
Yeah. As a team. Like, we'll just go after training sometimes.
I need to
You know,
swap teams.
You know, even, okay, so...
I'd rather go to Macca's than pay $25 for 2 Slovakia and chips.
I remember there was...
Can we talk about that? Yeah, anyway.
Last year, we...
I love the crossbar, by the way.
Shout out.
Thanks, Nick. Last year we had a game where so at home we got done 11-1 to a particular team that we do not have any love for whatsoever. I'm not going to mention the team,
I know which one you're talking about.
right? And then we went to their home deck, and I think we beat them 6-4, right? Anyway, and the game was very controversial and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, after the game, I said, I go, boys, look, we obviously want to beat these guys for what they did to us on our home deck. But if you guys put in a good performance, whatever, and, you know, we're happy with whatever, and you win, we'll go to Macca's after and I'll shout you all an ice cream. All right? We won. We went to Macca's and they all got pancakes. We all got bloody ice creams and all that sort of shit. And
One child, I think, had 3 large meals.
Yep.
The name. that
not going
child,
to name, it may or may not be Emmanuel Demonzitis. You know, cannot deny nor confirm that accusation, but yeah, and it's good to build that team morale.
It's culture. You know, it's a
Yeah.
really big thing as well.
Yeah,
To see it.
yeah, you know, and it's like I said, it is good to see them, like, even going to each other's birthdays, and
Yeah.
even one of the parents took us as a team us to 36ers game,
Mm-hmm.
and we all sat in a box all together.
Yeah.
You know,
the farm, and you know,
Yeah.
in January as well. So
yeah, I didn't make it there, but it's all right, whatever.
be invited.
I was invited, but I couldn't make it. But yeah, so it was things like that. It's good, and we're always trying to tee up a camping trip, which never eventuates, but we're still trying to get there. But it's good. Like I said, they're mates on and off the pitch, which is really good. And even we got 3 new players this year,
3 new players, yeah.
and one of them just wants to be a goalkeeper, and he's the smallest kid on on the thing, and he
Is that Leo?
Leo? Yeah, he's
Ripper though.
he's
great.
amazing. And then I think one of the Gala Dame games, he let quite a few in, and he really was gutted. I was like, mate, you're not going to save every single goal, mate.
So funny you say that. So the one thing that I'm not struggling with, but I think the one thing that my son James, who wants to play goalkeeper, the one thing that he's struggling with is the whole idea of being able to touch the ball
with his hands.
because we've just gone through he went through 3 years, 2 times in under 6 and then under 7. As a four-a-side where you're not allowed to touch the ball, there is no goalkeeper. It's just a defender type thing.
Yeah, we got
right?
corners, throw-ins.
And then all of a
penalties.
sudden, I'm going, okay, here's your gloves.
Yeah.
Here's your bib,
Pick up the ball.
right? The ball comes to you, touch it, grab it, stop it with your hands, get on the ground,
Jump on it,
do
mate.
this, do that. But like the few goals that he did let through, I realized that he still doesn't have the idea of being able to touch the ball. He's slowly getting there. On Friday night, we played the under-9 team, and my God, some saves that this kid did was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. But, that's the thing. When you've got like a Galekovic, who his dad is a goalkeeper, and that's all he knows, he's naturally going to be sitting there saving goals and doing all these sorts of great things. You know what I mean? So, again, it's that development thing. Talking about goalkeepers, so I just received a private message from Roberto, and I kid you not. So this is a really good segue into it. He goes, my father had the national goalkeeper of our football team shot for letting a goal in.
So we all know that goalkeeper, eh?
No, you're thinking of. I know who you're talking about. It was a Colombian player. He'd let an own goal in.
Yes.
He was a field player, not a goalkeeper. That one, yeah.
Yeah.
Could have been the same thing. Could have been
Now, I did double check if I was okay to discuss that. Yeah. But yeah, this is how crazy football.
Shit just got real.
Yeah. Yeah. I in no way will ever harm my son if he was to let a few goals in. That's my disclaimer. Ladies and gentlemen, just please understand that this will never happen. And I am not a Colombian drug lord or in any way, what shape or form do I care if the goalkeeper... I mean, I do care if the goal goes in, but,
Not to that extreme.
Yeah, not to that extreme.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you imagine now? I just, turned around to my son one day, like we're playing your team and, right, you let one in, I will break your legs.
Well,
I reckon my dad used to say that to me a lot.
Yeah.
And that shape.
Yeah, but that's just wogs.
yeah.
That's just wogs.
I'm saying maybe the goal difference between our team and his team at the minute is
It's pretty high.
pretty high at the minute, isn't it?
Yeah. But you know what? It's still early, so let's just hold
Could
that
be higher.
Could be higher.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
We are in the same league this year, and our games actually do count this year.
They do.
So don't talk too early.
Okay.
Don't talk too early.
All right.
Game on when we get.
He had a couple of good games at Gala Day, and now he's.
No.
That's all right.
No.
Mate. It's all good.
I have played your team twice as a scratch friendly game, and
Are they ever friendlies, really?
no, they're never friendlies.
They're not.
Never friendlies.
There are arguments on the pitch.
100%.
You know,
I just
remember
think-
last year where
losing my shit.
did you know? Okay, so
Yeah, many
we were playing
times.
a night game on pitch 1A,
Yeah.
and we got pumped by your team like 7-2 or something. So I just turned over, and George is like just kicking
I could see the smoke coming out of his ears.
He was kicking the fucking temp fence where China was playing. He was just fucking booting it in. I was just like,
And again,
George,
like
they're under sevens, man.
knowing George, I don't think he was pissed off that I was smacking his team up.
No, he was.
He was more pissed off that his players just, and it's true that your players just weren't doing
No.
what they've been
capable
taught to do and what they can do.
Because you're
Like, how
you
is
train
it-
so well, and then you go to a game, it's like, why do you got fucking lost puppies?
Yeah,
we know you know what you're supposed to do.
You know how to
but
play,
that's
you know?
that's how I feel sometimes our teams are when they play off against another team of their club.
Yeah, you crack
right?
the shits, man.
It's
Yep.
okay. Yeah, sure. Okay, my team had a bit more of that winning streak against yours last year, but I'm not going to say that's the same thing this year. Like,
hey, look, it might be our
I think my team felt very confident against your team last year, right? But having said that, your team did fantastic out and about when you were playing other clubs other than that one club where you turned the result around at later part of the season. You were pumping all these other teams because that strategy that you had taught them was put in place.
Yeah.
It's just different when you have that derby.
Yeah, it's
You know, and I guess being on a Friday night or being on a weeknight, some kids just don't switch on as they would on a Sunday morning.
No, it's right. It's completely different. Like, the training scratchy and actually.
But I'm
playing
telling
on
you,
Sunday.
this season, our two teams are in the same league, and if there is no blood after or during one of our matches on a Sunday, a proper league game, then there's not a proper game. Can I just make a pact here that during our face-offs, we have to get an external person to referee.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
We'll get George to ref.
Because I can't referee these games. You can't referee these games.
But then who are we going to get? We can't get one of the parents.
We're going to have to ask the club to supply a referee for that one game.
Well, it's going to be at home anyway, so who cares? Just get JP to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Or someone.
Yeah.
You can get my son to do it. Evan can do it.
No, that's too close to
conflict of
home.
interest. Sure.
That's what I mean.
Too good.
It's good. Like, I always say to George all the time, mate, out and about, but me and Valandi, best mates. When it comes to soccer, mate, mortal enemy. Enemy. And it's good though. Like, even like, I was speaking to, I don't know if it was Ago or JP today. I go, it's just so good. Like, we'll try and help each other out as much as we can. But, when we're playing against each other, it is that friendly rivalry, and it's good. It's a healthy rivalry. Yeah. It's not like, oh, in your face, oh, you fucking use of shit. Yeah. It's good. It's like, I think it was the second game we played.
Sorry, I think there's more rivalry between coaches than there is the kids. The kids just want to play.
They don't give a shit. It's definitely
the kids just want to play. But like, when I'm trying to referee this game and I've got, you on the sidelines trying to heckle me when I'm making calls, there was you weren't at that last one.
No, I wasn't.
But there was a moment where one of his players completely tripped the fuck out of one of my players, and I called a free. Okay?
Yeah. And I didn't even fucking touch it.
Yeah, and then you've got that attitude on the side. And I'm like...
It was a clear, last man foul.
Yeah.
Do you remember seeing it on the video?
And, we don't give cards out at this level, but if I could give card, that would have been straight red.
Yeah. 100%.
Straight
last man took out his legs, 100% foul.
We taught them well. We have taught them
fantastic.
well. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So they are implementing the strategies we've taught them. That's pleasing.
Yeah. I go down the soft path and, just guys have fun, win. And then we
finish him.
Then we play you guys. It's like fucking Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. I'm very, very competitive. Always have been from young. Extremely competitive, whether it's social tennis, 10-pin bowling, whatever it is. Like it's on. I've got a massive case of white.
The first time I ever noticed that, I remember I think it was when Evan, he was playing under 16s last year. Was it last year he was playing under 16s?
Yeah, last year he played 16s.
Or was it the year before? Was he playing 16s? Did he play 16s twice?
No.
Or anyway, I can't remember. I think it was coaching the under 6s. Anyway, one of the 2 years. Anyway, it was a home game, and I remember I got my deck chair out and all that sort of stuff, and I went upstairs to go to get, I don't know, just some chips for Dimitri or whatever. Anyway, I came down and I could just hear someone just losing their shit at the ref, like just going nuts. I'm like, the fuck is that? As I got closer, I realised my deck chair was right next to this fucking person that was losing it, and it was George. And I think I was walking down with your wife, Katrina, and I'm like, is he like always like this? And she's like, you have got no idea.
Yeah.
So it was, he's very, very passionate about the game, I must say. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. I wouldn't fucking change it. It's killer. It's good value. It's good value. And you know what? And I know he's got my fucking back when we're going to another club, and that coach is being a complete, hard work person. And it was...
Do you like what he just did there?
Yeah, I tried to...
Fuck.
Too nice, not a nice.
And then to not a nice person.
Yeah, I just had to...
Just say what you want to say. It's a men's
he was
podcast.
being a complete fucking dickhead, this one coach
there you
last
go.
year. And
We're not mentioning names, so it's not like we know who you're accusing.
I'd like to.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I do too, but
And George just fucking...
I've had my moments with this coach.
Backed me up, and it was fucking awesome.
Do you know the one thing I hate about coaching? This is the one thing that I can say I clearly hate. You try to play by the books.
100%.
Right? Then you go to someone else's grounds.
Oh, this is exactly what fucking happened.
And out of nowhere, this ground is like, nah, you're at our domain, our rules, our book, our rules. Huh?
Yeah, that's exactly what
And then
the
you
coach
rip
said.
out the mini Roo manual and go, no.
Is it the same coach?
Yeah. I've had a run-in with this person too.
Yeah.
But, for example, there was another team, again, not mentioning the club, but there was another team where they had a whole 2 sets of teams on the bench, including
I remember you saying that.
So you had 4 players on the pitch and 8 players on the bench.
And you were, at that time,
Right.
you were only allowed to have 3 on the bench.
Correct. You're only allowed to have maximum 3 on the bench.
Now it's 4.
So I questioned them going, are they your second and third team or... No, that's our team. I said, so I'm sorry, how many subs do you have? And they go, oh, those 8 kids there. I go, but you're not allowed to have that many subs.
You got 3 teams.
And then the coach turns around and goes, we play what rules we want here at the club. Now
So
that
when
coach...
you go away?
What?
So when they came and they had their away game...
No, we were at their ground.
but when you played them at the Comets...
Oh, when they came to us...
Did they have...
I think they had 4 on the bench. Again, 1 over, but that doesn't bother me. Like, whatever, 4 on the bench. You got a whole team. It didn't make any difference because we won that game. But when we were there, they had 8 on the bench and their coach, and I say this in inverted commas, but I'm not even on camera, their coach... literally was standing in front of the goals.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah.
Right? And I said from the sidelines going, excuse me.
You fuck off.
What are you doing? Like, you clearly just pushed aside a goal that was going in. No, I didn't. Yeah, we all just saw it. No, you saw nothing. I just saw it.
You know what? You know what's funny though, because I remember there was a few games where... Like I would sort of hang back. Like I would always be the one on the pitch, and George is always on the side, like getting a view from there. I remember there was this one game. I think it was our first game, and I'll say the club. It doesn't really matter. It was the Salisbury one, the first one, and I remember I was in the back line, and there was no one. There was no one in the back line, and the ball was going in the goal. I almost went and just booted the ball, but then I thought, oh my god, it's a mini ruse game. You just had that brain fart. You're like, oh my god, it's gonna oh shit, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of those. And another team I would say, Modbury Jets, nicest fucking coach ever.
Yeah.
Beat us both times.
Yep.
Beat us both times. They were a ripper team, and the coach was fucking nicest guy ever. Yeah. And he even said, he goes, look, your team's really good. You know, you got your strengths. This is what you could probably work on, this and that. And he was just real nice about it. And you know what? Really, all the coaches were pretty nice, except one. Yep. You know, and we all, amongst all the clubs, will always say, "Oh, wait till you play this team."
But it's really interesting because I actually spoke to a parent from another club at one of the academies that the kids play at, and they actually said they had the same sort of issues with this particular coach as well, and they actually called their game off for that reason.
What? that coach called the game,
No,
or
no,
the
no.
the
Yep. So the other team called the game off against this so known coach.
I wonder if we're going to
Yes,
see him out and about. I mean,
he's not. They're not in
not
our.
now.
no,
our
they're
division.
not. But
But
I
yeah.
wonder if he's still
Yeah.
coaching.
It'd be interesting.
We find out, really. But yeah, just we're touching on. We're on a fine line there, but yeah, it's just guys. They're kids, and the way he was speaking to the kids as well, it's like,
Yeah.
it's not.
Nah.
It's not nice.
Do you reckon we should go into some blokes bits?
Yep.
Yeah. We'll introduce George to blokes bits.
He was like, "What the fuck is this?"
This is
This is Blokes Bit.
Blokes bits. Now, George, blokes bits is not a segment of our podcast where we dack ourselves and touch
I'm glad.
and look or
Forgot to
touch
put our
or
pants on.
caress or anything like that. Blokes bits is just literally just blokes chats on anything random. And I'm going to start off with something that I found today, which was absolutely hilarious.
Could be like anything in the news, anything
Now-
sports related, whatever.
I'm purely raising this because Stamati is a tradie. He's in that profession, right?
Game up on the tradie.
I found this and I loved it and completely support the tradies, right?
I know exactly what you're going to talk about. The driveway?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Fucking oath I would do it.
So, two hardworking Aussie tradesmen who ripped up a concrete driveway after a client refused to pay their bill have revealed that their hardline approach paid off. It got to the point where these two tradies had done a concreting of a driveway. They were still owed $3,500. The owner of the property refused to pay the $3,500. There was no reason behind the refusal. The job all up cost $13,500. So $10,000 was paid. They were still owed $3,500.
Yeah, and that could be your
Kept
your
refusing,
profit,
kept
really.
refusing, kept refusing. And then it got to the point where they're like, fine, fuck yes. And they started getting bulldozers ripping up the driveway.
See, this
Right?
happened as well not long ago with a concrete driveway. The next day, because the concrete was still soft, they literally just went with sledgehammers. It's a different one, but the same
different
sort
one,
of thing
it is, yeah.
happened.
So it got to the point where even police got involved, and the police stood there backing up the tradies, going, "Well, you owe the guy $3,500."
Oh, they backed them. I
Yeah.
thought they were backing the owners.
No,
because they
no,
were
no, no.
trespassing.
No. Well, they can't trespass because they was technically still on the job. Like it hadn't completely finished, but they were refusing to pay that $3,500. So my question to you is: have you had moments like that where you've painted a house that was worth $10,000, $15,000 of work, and have you turned around and gone, nah, fuck yes, and started like painting different colors on someone's?
Okay, all right. So it's happened a couple of times where they refuse to pay, but no, I haven't gone to that point where I'm going to go start damaging stuff.
Have you thought about it?
Every day.
It has crossed my mind, yes, but yeah, no, it's happened. It has probably in, like I said, I don't know how long I've been painting for now, since 2008. So I worked that out. It's happened, 3 or 4 times where I remember I was working for someone at the time, and I remember this guy must have been a crackhead or something. I'm not sure what was going on. And like he paid me, and then later that day he goes, "Oh man, can I have some money back?" And I like just started working with him. It was like, I don't know, it was $800 worth. He goes, "Oh, can I have 600? Because I won't be able to. I've got to pay my rego, my this, my that. I won't have any money left." And I was like, "All right, here." And because I was living at home with mum, so had some money saved, but that's not the point. And then I remember he refused to pay me. I literally typed his name into Google and I found his address. So that's the one and only time I've ever gone to somebody's house to get my money, and he shit his fucking pants because I was bigger than him. And I'm like, dude, I'll work, just give me my money, we'll go our separate ways, and that's it. And he did. But yeah, there was a couple of other times where I've had to, how do I put this?
Threaten?
No. I've never threatened anyone. But I've had to, like, you know, once all your legal thing is exhausted, then you start thinking like, okay, you know, sorry,
Bikies.
no.
Well, in Roberto's case,
Yeah.
he said, if you didn't pay my father the money that you owed him, you
you'd be
got a
dead.
necktie.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if you,
I don't think he had actual tie. I think it was like more like the tie would
Tie would
end your life. Yeah, the necktie. The necktie would end your
like,
life.
it's not those mob movies where they get the
Yeah.
wire. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
look, so
the
I've-
Colombian version of mafia.
Yeah. No, look, I've had to.
It's called a cartel.
Yeah. I've had to like send multiple emails, get legal advice and all that sort of stuff before, which obviously always resulted in my favour. But yeah, no, it happens and it's fucking bullshit because, you know, you outlay all this money yourself. Like I could go to a job that might be 30 grand and I've outlaid, say, 20 grand of my own money.
I was going to say, yeah.
You know,
And what's your time worth?
and exactly. Well, it's my time plus I'm paying someone to help do the job. I'm also paying Dulux for the paints. You know, why should I miss out? Like I've done the job. I've done this. Oh yeah, next week. Oh yeah, next week. Oh yeah, next week. Oh yeah, and then it's like, dude, it's been like 60 days. Like, do you go to a cafe and say, oh, I'll pay for this meal and coffee in 60 days time? No, no. You
Pay
rock
for a
up with an
service.
FPOS,
Yep.
you pay, and that's it.
Yep.
I mean, I don't have an FPOS machine. I mean, I should probably get one. 'Cause I know a mate of mine who's got one, and he goes, at the end of the job, mate, here you go, done, up, see you later. But, you know, I'll have, you know, you've got, like, you know, 7 days to pay your invoice, and that's it. Simple. But yeah, some people, especially, you know, not really, the wealthy, they always try and hold their money for interest. It's like, well, man, what about me? Like, I've got a mortgage to pay for. Everyone thinks, oh, you own your own business, oh, you're a multimillionaire. No, it's not that. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, just please, people, pay your tradies.
So next time someone doesn't pay you for a period of time,
I'll call Roberto.
well, Roberto just said a necktie actually is when they pull your tongue out and you drown in your own blood. Yeah. Well, we probably won't go that far, but I was going to say next time someone doesn't pay you within the 3 months of due date.
3 months, 7 days, mate.
All right, 7 days. Within the 7 days, and then it has to escalate. Can you just go draw like a big dick on the side of their house or something?
Oh, then you're definitely not getting your money. You're definitely
Yeah,
not
but
getting your money.
you could still take that to the courts and go, you know, he never paid me.
Yeah. No,
He's
see,
a dick.
it's
He asked for a Muriel.
a mural.
Actually, Roberto's a really good painter. You can get him down to draw you one.
Roberto. Yeah,
Yeah.
when you come down to Australia, you come on one of the jobs with me. I won't pay you much, but you know, you just come around. Yeah, no, it's frustrating, man. Like you're doing the job, you're there. Like even like, you know, it doesn't matter what weather it is. If it's hot, cold, freezing, you just boy, like 40-degree day. I mean, look, my sister's not paying me.
Yeah, but that's family love.
Yeah, I know. Do you go do family events and not charge them?
No, I just refuse to do them. Do you know how many people have asked me, family people, have asked me to do gigs for them, and I said, no, I'm sorry.
I want to come and enjoy the party.
I want to come as a guest.
You know, see, that's
Because it's very rare for me to be at a party without the responsibility of playing music.
yeah. And then, you know what? And that's like now. Like I look back now, I remember my my cousin Leo. He's a decent DJ, DJ Crunk. And I remember back when we were teenagers, we were always like, oh, at our parties, can't you just do a set, you know, this and that, don't worry, fuck it. And he always used to say, he goes, man, I want to enjoy the party with you guys. And it's only now I realise, like, fuck that poor bastard, man. He was always, you know, we were always making him DJ our parties.
Yeah, and do you know how many times I've missed out on family events because I've already had that pre-booking to do a wedding or some type of event, and then out of nowhere, a family member's like, oh, by the way, I'm getting married on this date. What do you mean? That's 3 months away. I've been booked a year for this date. And like I have no choice but to miss out on the family event.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's hard.
What else?
All right. So tradies and the many ways of getting paid, I guess.
Yeah, no, it happens. It happens, and you know, what do you do? That's the risk of running your own business.
It is. So that was my bloke's bit for the week.
But that's not the same with you as well. Like, do you, when you go to do a party, do you ask for a deposit, or do you ask once it's paid, once you?
I
finish,
do now. For the last, I've been DJing 20 years plus now.
How's your hearing?
Yeah, it's not good.
Fucked.
It's not good.
Yeah.
I constantly get like my ears constantly.
What's it called? Tinnitus.
Yeah, tinnitus. Well, anyway, whatever.
I get that.
I know, but my ears constantly are infected.
Infected?
Yeah, I get lots of ear infections because.
You really?
Yeah.
Oh,
my ears are always itchy.
poor bastard.
Always itchy, and then that turns into an infection.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I get an infection,
bad.
my whole ear closes up. The whole drum, everything closes up. It's bad. My head hurt. Yeah, it's but with
money up front, guys.
yeah. So with me and DJing, it's I went through this phase where I was like, okay, 25% deposit of the overall fee, whatever it is.
Yep.
And then 2 weeks out, the rest of the money up front. Now, yeah, sure, there was a few people I was a little bit more lenient with. Yep, no problems. This is my event. Cash, no problems. Pay me on the day.
Yeah, but you know what?
Right?
Yeah, before the gig. Because trying to get the cash after at like 3 o'clock in the morning, everyone's
there,
fucked out of
and
their
that's
brains.
the reason why I did that, is because there were times where I would go to do a party, and in my early days, I'd be, yep, no problems. This is my fee. And you can pay me on the night.
$4,000.
Right? No, not that much. I wish.
3.5. 3?
So,
2.5.
you know, you'd say, all right, pay me. And then there were times where I'd walk away and that person was either passed out.
Yeah.
They had already packed up and gone home by the time I put all my gear in the car. You know, sometimes I was at weddings, the husband, like the groom and, I was going to say the groom and groomette.
Oh, wow, it's late.
The groom and bride,
Mate, the bride.
yeah, they've walked off and they've got in their car, and then I'm like, fuck, who do I talk to about getting paid?
Yeah.
And then you reach out to these people, they're on their honeymoons, you don't see them, like you don't hear from them for like
shit.
2 months, and it's like, okay, and then they're like, oh yeah, nah, we didn't like that you did this on the night, so we're not going to pay you. What?
It's the same thing.
Right? What? So I've now gone, right, I'm not taking a gig until you sign this contract. You pay me 50% of the deposit of the event. So let's say
And
that
that's non-refundable. So if you
Yep.
cancel, like
So
less than
if-
how long?
yeah, and it's not refundable because do you know how many times I've been cancelled on a week out or a few days out?
Yeah, but let's say if they cancel 3 months out, would you give them deposit back?
No.
Because then that's blocked you from doing other gigs.
Correct.
Yeah, it's good.
Correct.
It's good.
I mean, I'd love to say, oh, you know, if I get another gig, I'll happily give it back. But I haven't put that clause. It gets
You don't
too
need
messy.
to. You shouldn't
It
have
gets
to.
too messy. I had this one. I had this one booking, right, and this is what made me completely change the way that I work. I had this one booking, and they booked me for their wedding, right? It was at a very well-known establishment. They booked me for this wedding because their preferred DJ was unavailable. So they came to me and I said, yep, no problems. I'm happy to help. I can deliver the same style of service. Went and had a meeting with these people, as I do with all clients. Went and had a meeting with these people, went through my contract with them. They signed it then and there, and they said, we'll pay your deposit tomorrow, right? At the time, I was only 25% deposit. So let's say $1,000, the deposit was $250, right? I got the money the next day. No problems. Locked in.
Beautiful.
Everything great. Closer to the date, the other DJ,
What are the DJ?
the other DJ that they
The original
preferred,
one.
the original DJ that they originally wanted,
Bastard.
turns around to them and says, "Oh, I happen to," now fully knowing that I have been booked for this gig now, right? Turns around and says, "Just letting you guys know
I'm available.
that the other gig I had no longer requires me. I'm available." Now, one, what right do you have to do that when you know that these people have booked someone else? And two, how dare you?
Yeah, what a wanker.
How dare you? Like, you've just taken bread and butter off my
That's
table.
happened to me before as well.
Right.
That's happened to me.
So anyway, this was around the coronavirus days, right? So just after coronavirus and all the
So you want as many
pandemic
gigs as
and all that,
possible
right?
because it's been...
So the excuse that came through to me from the to-be bride was, this is 2 weeks out, mind you. Very sorry to do this, but we're going to have to cancel the wedding because yada yada got COVID, isn't doing too well, rah rah rah. Then I get a message from the groom to be, had a death in the family, no longer going ahead with the wedding.
Wow.
And I'm like, this doesn't match up.
Yeah.
I know this bride and groom to be live together. They're telling me two different stories. Something
Not even on
doesn't.
the same page.
Something doesn't match up. So I used my due diligence and I rang the venue.
Yeah.
And I go, "Hey, how you going? I'm going to be there in a couple weeks' time. I'm just checking if everything's still going ahead and everything's according to plan." They're going, "Yeah, actually, the couple are coming in this afternoon to do some taste testing on the food."
Tell me you went.
Right? And I go, "Excellent, fantastic to hear." I then ring the clients back and I go, "Right, I need to get your story straight. You're telling me this, you're telling me that. I've just rung the function center and they have told me that you are going in this afternoon. What is going on?" And then they go, "Look, we just don't need your services. We want our money back."
Sorry.
Wow.
And I'm like, hold on. No, you're not getting your money back because I've lost potentially a lot of other gigs that day. And I did. I had like 4 other people ring me for that day, but I was already booked in for them. They go, "Yeah, but we don't need the DJ anymore." And I go, "Why is that?" And then I rang back the venue and I said, "Hey, do you by any chance know what's going on?" And they go, "Oh, yeah, such and such, rah, rah, rah." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So he rang them to tell him that he's free. And now I've been dicked out of a job.
Yeah.
And I've lost $1,000.
So tell me you didn't give them the money back.
Right? So I rang him back and I go, "I'm sorry, as per my contract, you have decided that you don't want me anymore. All fine with me, but I'm keeping the deposit." Right? And they go, "Nah, that's not fair. We want our money back, rah, rah, rah. You know, it's not a binding contract."
Did they sign it?
Right? They signed it.
It's a binding
It's
contract.
not a legally binding contract. It hasn't been run through lawyers and this and that. I'm like, what? So I then start getting threatened by some family members who were saying they're lawyers and in the law field. I go, "Okay, that's fine." I then ring up my cousin who's a barrister,
Killer.
right? I go, da, this and that. And she goes, "Send me your contract." Sent her the contract that they had signed, all the wording that I had in there. And she goes, "It's good. It's binding. Yeah, maybe a little bit of the words can be changed. We'll fix that. But for now, they owe you that deposit that you paid. And you know what? Actually, they owe you the full amount because they've cancelled on you with no particular reason less than 2 weeks out of your event. And that's clearly stated in your
So they need to
document."
pay you in full.
Right? So I said, "I'd be happy to let this rest if you can just give me the clear path to say I'm entitled to that deposit. I don't want to fight for the rest. I can't be bothered. It's not in my scope to, And she sent an email to these clients and go, "I'm representing Mr. Angelopoulos," and it's like, why did we have to get
For over $250.
just be upfront with me and say,
This is who we prefer.
The original DJ we wanted is now available. Are you okay if we were to get him? The original DJ then finds out how peed off I am about this
Did he
and
reach out to you at least?
what he's caused. So you know what he says to me? Oh, look, why don't you come and MC for me at the event?
Because you wanted to be there and all. That'd be great. I would love that microphone.
Awesome, mate.
I would love for me to
Tell you a
focus.
story.
I would love for me to focus on the music and you MC.
Absolutely not.
And I said, very nice speaking to you. And in a nice way, get
Have a
fucked.
nice day. Yeah, I mean, something similar like that happened to me. I mean, look, I'll only collect a deposit probably 2 weeks out, which I probably should change that, like, because you know I've only had like one or two people cancel jobs, and there was this one job I went and quoted for this lady, and it was, I think it was like a $5,000 or $6,000 job, and I was out by like $150, and I said, okay, look, you know this certain person, like we had a mutual person that we knew, and I said, look, I'm happy to beat it by $100, and she goes, no, that's fine, thank you, and left it. She went with this other person. So, and I've had that plenty of times. People use me as a stocking horse, which I don't appreciate, because you know when you're quoting a job, it takes so long. Like I could, like for example, when I went on this cruise, I stopped in Brisbane overnight. Once the kids were in bed at like 9 o'clock, I was in the hotel room up until like 1 o'clock in the morning, finishing off 2 quotes that I had to get out. Like I just had no time before. And I said to Katrina, I go, look, once the kids are in bed, I have to do this. So I had my laptop, my tablet, whatever, in a hotel room. I'm supposed to be on a vacation and I'm doing work. And luckily one of the jobs I got and the other one I still even had, it was so urgent that I had to get it out that night. Still haven't heard anything. It's like, man, just tell me yes or no. Like, it's not that hard. You got 14 days to respond to that quote before it goes up.
You know, talking about quotes, the one, and I'm going to finish it on this note because we are like going full hardcore on this episode.
Yeah.
The one thing I love about quotes is when you get those clients that just reach out to see what you're going to charge.
What do you think it is? Just a rough ballpark.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
let me know. What
And
do
they're
you think
like,
it is?
oh,
Back of the envelope sort of calculation.
we're having this party on this day at this venue during these times. What's your package? And now I have a flat package, right? If it's
Simple.
If it's a wedding, this is my price. If you want me to MC as well at your wedding, this is my price. If it's a engagement, 21st, christening, any other bloody type of event that's
It's in black and white, mate.
That's not a wedding, this is my price. One stock standard price, doesn't matter what type of event, doesn't matter how long the event goes for, because
Really?
end of the day, I'm going to be away from my family regardless.
They're going to be asleep by the time you get home.
Whether it's a
regardless.
4-hour event, I still have to prepare myself an hour or two early. And then I have to pack up. If it's a 6-hour event, again, you know, just
Doesn't really
whatever.
matter.
Obviously, if it goes past 1 o'clock and they want me there till 4 o'clock, then I'm going to have to charge. But that's a different
And
story.
now here, now there's not going to make a difference.
Anyway, so where I was going with that, they asked me for a quote. I said, yep, sure, no problems. This is my quote. You don't hear back from them. And then a few days later, you go, all right, you know what? I'm just going to do the courtesy thing. Send an
following
email.
up. Yep.
Hey, how you going? Just following up on my quote. What do you guys think? Hey, sorry, found another DJ. All good. Thanks very much for your time. Okay, you could have told me this. Then you find out that this DJ undercuts you by $200-300, right? Whatever.
Yep.
That's what you want to do.
Yeah.
You want the business more than me. That's fine. I've got my day job. To me, DJing is just a weekend thing. No problems. That's fine. Down the track, you bump into these people.
Offered to MC at their funeral. Fucking hell, better.
From neckties to funerals. Definitely in the wrong business. So a few months down the track, you find these people and you go, oh, hey, how you going? How was your wedding or how was your event? And they just go silent. I go, oh, everything all right? Oh, yeah, no, the DJ that we had was,
Shit.
a bit subpar. I'm like, oh,
Pay for what you pay for. Mate.
Okay, cool. I'm like, I hope you didn't pay too much. No, he was quite a lot cheaper, but I think, we went with the wrong option. Sorry to hear that.
That's right.
What do you do?
Can't redo your wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah, just adding on yours. People go, oh, just roughly look, I've got a 3-bedroom house, 1 bathroom, this, that, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, man, I've got to come and see it. Yeah, but what do you think? I'm like, well, I don't know. I've got to come and see it.
Can I ask you a question? So would you look at a job in, say, Springfield and then a job in, let's say, Plimpton and think,
No,
job's
be
a
completely
job.
different.
Yep.
So, like you would say, if you had a job in Springfield, you wouldn't be living in a dog box.
No.
You wouldn't be living in your stock standard 3-bedroom, 1 bathroom, 1 garage. It would be very ornate.
Yep.
It would be very, like you go to a job in, like, say, Unley. It's the quality is different. So
That's racist.
It's not racist. It's jobbist. So it's different.
I'm trying to find this explanation. I don't know where it is, but have you seen the one where it goes, where it talks about how much value your time is, where it breaks down like, material costs,
So
this and that and all that. And then at the bottom it says, I pretty much walk away with $200 in my pocket.
yeah. So like, let's say out of a, I don't know, let's say a job's $1,000, right? Say, you'll work it out a bit better.
I can't find it now.
Say it's a $10,000 job, right? And they go, how long are you going to be there for? I'm going to be there for about a week and a half. You're going to charge me $10,000. I'm going to be there for a week and a half. I'm like, well, yeah, hold on a sec. Well, it might even be 2 weeks.
Break that down.
Let's break it down, all right? So paints might be $1,500, right? You're going to pay someone else. Well, I pay this one particular guy, about $1,700 a week, all right? So if he's there, let's say it's 2 weeks, you work that out. Then I pay for myself. Okay, but then I've got insurances. I've got, I've got public liability. I've got income protection. I've got tools of trade insurance. I've got my business registration. I've got what's the other thing? I've got all the tickets, right? Well, this thing costs money. Okay, the operating costs. I've got programs like to use. I'm paying monthly subscriptions on.
Pornhub doesn't count.
Pornhub's free, right? I'm paying monthly.
For free.
Life member. I'm paying subscriptions on software, for quoting, for estimating, for I'm a member of Master Builders Association. That's a monthly subscription. I'm a member of.
All right, we get it. You're a member of a lot of different clubs.
Right?
Yep.
A little bit of adverts here and there, whatever. Not really, but I go.
You don't tell your clients that, do you?
No, if I ask. Oh, why is it this much?
Because $100 of that's going towards my online advertising.
No, but I don't. No. When I say advertising, I mean like being a member of Master Builders. For me, that's advertising. For me, on my letterhead, it says I'm a Dulac. Out of my old rep, he at the time, he's not my rep anymore, but I remember him saying he looked after just him in his region, looked after 600 painters. Out of that 600 painters, only 30 were accredited. There was only 30 at the time. There was only 30 accredited painters in SA and Northern Territory, and I'm one of those accredited painters.
You have to pay for that accreditation.
Yes, you do. But there's that they audit you.
Yeah.
So all your insurance is up to date. They come out and inspect your jobs. They come out. Okay, are you buying Dulux products? If I think it's over 90%. If you're not buying over 90% of Dulux, well, they're not accrediting you. Yeah. You have to then give your clients 5-year workmanship warranty on top of the 10 or 15 year warranty on the product.
What happens if you use a different brand of paint?
I don't. I refuse. I've knocked back builders saying, "Oh, we want you to use water." I'm like, well, sorry, I'm not doing it. And that was a $25,000 job. I'm very Dulux, because they have the best. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. They have the best undercoats, and your job is only as good as how you prepare it. They've got the best undercoats. You know, you might go to another painting company. They might have better gloss, but their undercoats are shitter.
Only thing I like about Dulux is that they do big paint tins worth of jelly beans.
Yeah, that only comes around once a year.
Yeah.
So
are you going to grab us a couple of tins?
I'll
next
grab
time?
you a couple of tins this year because I remember it was Halloween and all these kids came to the door. Killer, man. I opened up the jelly bean things and they're all in pre-packets as well. Here you go, here you go, here you go. Perfect.
Excellent. Good way to bribe the kids.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, I think we'll leave it there because the two blokes in the pod has turned into the Stamati show. I just feel the last half hour it's been about you and your bloody Dulux.
Yep.
But
boys, I did wear your hat. Inspiration Seaton. Now give me some credits on my account.
Jesus credits. Pass it on to the consumer.
Wow. Oh, God. Hey, George, thanks so much for coming in today.
Thanks for letting me share this story, mate.
Absolutely loved it. It's good to hear a different side to you. Obviously, Stamati has heard a lot about you because, you know, you two talk a lot. But for me personally, it's great to hear that, you know, other side of you. And I really do appreciate you coming in and sharing that with us and our listeners.
Just say thank you. You probably haven't said it before as well, but thank you to Stamati for giving me the opportunity to coach again because part of my journey has been rediscovering my love of coaching as well and helping, if heal was the right word, but you know, help me get better as well. So probably haven't said it before, but thank you because
no worries, man.
Don't cry. Don't cry.
Can't handle this.
But no, it is honestly like without that, that was one of the steps.
I think he only brought you on board because he realised he couldn't do it.
Wow. I'm going to leave it there.
What a prick. Just killed this moment for me. Why would you do that?
No, it's I've seen the way that, you know, you guys have interacted in your team and the way that you guys coach that team and the way you guys have coached my team as well. Having that experience on the field that you've brought has, you know, obviously given me a lot of things to think about and ways to do things. So, you know, there you go. The bromance here.
It's true. No. Look,
the bromance.
Do you know? My wife actually said to me when I told her you're coming on tonight. She goes, "Why?" I said,
"Wow, thank you."
I said,
I'm not aware.
"No. She loves George. Absolutely loves George, hands down."
Yeah.
But she's like, "Why?" And I said, "Because George has a lot to talk about." And she goes, "So it's not going to be like 3 hours of them completely, smashing you?" No. I said, no.
That was only for about 15 minutes. Yeah. It's fine.
We're not going to get into political discussions about our soccer teams. I think 3/4 of this podcast episode have been about our soccer teams.
3/4, mate. We've been on for, 2 hours and 22 minutes. I reckon about 2 hours has been about soccer. Yeah.
Roberto, it's all Greek to me. Great show, guys. Hey, and thank you very much to everyone who's been online with us.
It's been good. Even through our technical difficulties tonight.
Even though our cameras have gone completely bonkers, people have stuck around, especially Roberto. He's absolutely loving this. You know what? I think we're going to have to do a live stream with him one day soon again. He was an absolute pleasure. Yeah. Just touching on last week's episode, people are loving it.
It's good.
They are loving it. Do you know the first thing when we put our reels up, which, mind you, one platform has banned our reel.
Who?
Yeah. TikTok has banned our reel. Yeah.
We didn't even...
Can you believe that? So Facebook and Instagram are exploding, and then TikTok have banned our reel because they're saying that...
Put some Windex.
Yeah, they're saying that I'm using violent extreme violent language.
Where?
Yeah, exactly. And you know what my write-up was? This is the write-up that I used on TikTok. You'll freak out.
And I remember even like when George, I said, "Oh, George, you want to come on?" He goes, "Oh yeah, who you got on this week?" And I said, "I go Roberto Sandoya Escobar." He goes, "Well, I'm not fucking coming on next week."
Anyone after that? I was born and bred in Australia, and this is my life.
He goes, "I'm not fucking coming on next week after that fucking episode."
So this is the caption I used. Exclusive. Val and Stamati talk to Roberto Sandoya Escobar, the firstborn son of Pablo Escobar,
There's
on
your-
all things.
Yeah.
But go back. That's what it is.
The firstborn son of Pablo Escobar.
No, just Pablo Escobar. That's it there.
Yeah, but I've seen so many people post videos of hashtag Narcos, hashtag Pablo Escobar,
Yeah.
and they've exploded 100,000 million views, whatever. But all I wrote was that, followed by on all things mental health, and now I just realized.
Neckties.
I just realized
neckties.
instead of depression, I wrote suppression. Okay. So I don't know if suppression is something. And then I just said, what an experience. That's it. Hashtag Pablo Escobar, hashtag for you.
Yeah,
I don't know. Anyway.
But yeah, no, George, thanks.
So
for coming on.
apparently it's hateful.
Yeah, well-
oh, here we go. Violent and hateful organizations and individuals.
Oh,
There you go. Okay, that explains.
Probably not wrong.
yeah. No, look.
But anyway, you guys can have your moment now.
Yeah, no, George, thanks for coming on, man. And yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome working with him, fucking with his, coaching with these kids, man. It's we both do get a kick out of it every week, and even like today, like man, every day. Like I'll speak to you most days, and I'll speak to George every fucking day, and it's always about what can we do this? How about that? TikTok's here, TikTok's there. Even today, where I was sending him, this is what I reckon, this is our formation. And then George sends me back like 6 different, like, this is our formation when they come from the left. This is our formation when they come from the right. This is our formation when we're going for attack. This is our formation for defending. I'm like, fuck, dude, I just sent you one. Like, just a general.
I need a job, man.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah, but do you realize George is the type of person where you give him one idea and he's already got 8 in the back of his mind?
Look, I'm not even fucking joking. Look at this. So I sent him that one. He sends me back. I was thinking of that, and then also this from when they come down this side, and then that, and then this, and then I bought this from when we don't have a keeper. Oh shit, there's Katrina.
Well, she does now.
Yes, sorry, Katrina. I bought it. Look, it was very, very cheap. Very, very cheap. It was only $500. When we don't have a keeper, this is how they can practice. And I was like, dude, I just
Just sent you
I
one
just
thing.
sent you that. Boom.
Why is there so many players on that?
There's 7 kids.
7 kids.
That's 7
Plus
on the
3.
pitch, plus 3 sub.
Oh, 3 subs on the side,
And then you
right?
can put their names on there, so it works out really well.
Okay,
Sub.
fair enough.
I'm not going to tell you what the app is. Fuck you.
Sharing's caring.
What is the app?
Not
Hang
telling
on, it's not the one that Seb showed.
No.
No, because we couldn't find it, so we just found another one.
Is this an Android-only app?
Works on George's phone.
Are you Apple?
Absolutely not. They're garbage. Did you know Apple?
Why aren't you going to tell me the app?
Because you can't remember.
I'm always going to... I'm always going to have a different strategy. And I thought the whole point of us being in the same league was so we could bounce off each other in regards to what the opposition's like.
That's absolutely not why we're in the same league. We are in the same league, so we have internal bragging rights. That's why we're in the same league.
Oh, wow.
Well, I'm making choice to change leagues now.
You can't. It's too late.
No, I can always pull out.
They said they might have the fixtures on Dribble tonight.
Anyway, that's it.
Thanks, George. For
Follow
coming
us on our socials. 2 Blokes in a Pod at Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok.
Yep.
Thank you very much to everyone who's been listening online and following us. And I'm going to stop the podcast right now because the boys are about to crack a fatty. And They've just
got
seen
the fixtures up.
are
They've
on.
got the fixtures up.
Okay, all right. Bye bye,
Thanks, guys.
There you guys.
Are you ready to sell your property quickly and hassle-free, or are you looking for a great property management service? Introducing XL Property, your trusted real estate partner. With XL Property, you can expect top-notch service, expert guidance, and maximum value in your home or investment. Sell smarter, sell faster with XL Property. XL Property, your key to a seamless selling and management experience. Visit xlproperty.com.au, proud sponsor of the Two Blokes in a Pod podcast.